Alrighty then. It's going to be like, I don't know, my third or fourth live stream in the last 24 hours. It's kind of funny. So we're going to put these on that right there. But I'm going to pull that over here because I'm too lazy to get up and go back and forth. So, invite people. Copy. Let's go over here. Lock that sound so it doesn't feed back. Go on, chat, load. God, I hate how slow this thing is sometimes. Come on, you can do it. YouTube is really slow in loading these days. And here's the hangout. So, pop out hangout. Chat, I meant. And then get rid of that window altogether. Because then I can just use the hangout window. So anybody popping in can join. You know what else I'm going to do? I am going to put it on my forum or whatever on Facebook in the friendly 3D printing. Heidi ho. Little Pooh Santa. Not really what I want to do there. What I want. Crap. I want YouTube. I don't want to pop out. God damn it. File, new window. History. Watch YouTube. Just gotta sit there and load, and then it'll show me the picture, but it won't frickin' load any of the background crap, which is what I'm actually looking for. Share. As in Sunny and share. Go away. Go back here. Select. Let's try that again. Am I still live on YouTube? Oh, crap. It's just too much going on here. It takes this thing so long to load crap. I have a wicked fast connection, and yet it still takes it forever to load because of these stupid ads. You can load the ads, just don't delay the stuff I actually want because the ad doesn't want to load because they made the ad like more bandwidth than the whole page is to put together. That's the crap that pisses me off. Am I still live streaming? Probably not. Nope, doesn't look like it. Oh no, maybe it is. Oh, it says I am. Am I? Oh, it says I am. Oh, I guess I am. There we go. Share. Copy. That's the same one. What's up, Matt Johnson? How are you today? Pop out chat. Now I can get rid of this window because I just don't need it anymore. Bring up the Hangouts window. Don't want to do that. Just want to make it smaller so I can maintain visual, but still have this, still have that. And everything is much better that way. And how is your life, Mr. Matt Johnson? Alrighty, so I'm going to pull this monstrosity over there so I can work on it. I really want to work on the back side of it, so I got to spin it all the way around, which is actually good because I can bring it right in front of me. And you can sort of see what I'm doing. Oh, and the belts are so nice, and I'm going to screw them all up. Don't have to go back to work till the 2nd. I don't have to go back to work until, like, I don't know, March. I got laid off yesterday, which it's no surprise. I always do this time of year in my business. I'm on vacation, basically, for 2 months. Not really. I got work to do, but I am definitely going to take a week or two and screw off. So here's the fun part. I get to snip these little cables. Start. Take all the tension off of this thing. Nothing wrong with having some time off around Christmas. That is for sure. Come on, why don't you bite that stupid tie? I want to bite the actual cable belt. Oh, I'm going to go through the head. That worked. Oh, these things are dirty. How did they get dirty if they're just clipped? And it comes all the way back to here. And this one comes all the way back to here. I'm not really sure I need to do this, but if you look at this, well, it's hard to see it. You see this one? Actually, you can see this one. They're actually kind of, when I tension them up, they're actually kind of bowing right here. So I put this extra little membrane right here in it. So instead of just being flat, like you can see this one, you can see the belts or the pulleys. This one has got a membrane in the middle to help stiffen it. It's not bad. I've seen worse, But I printed these as demos anyways. I printed them kind of thin and quickly because it was more of a are they going to work thing when I initially did it. So it looks like, and actually now that I look at the back, I've been hearing some creaks and it looks like this one's cracked. So we're going to replace them, which is kind of stupid because the thing's been printing beautifully for like the last 2 to 3 weeks. So of course, you know, I gotta screw it up. What is up, Trolling for Dollars? No, I do not have accessible plans for this yet because it is not what I would consider a public-ready build. It still has lots of issues, most of which I have been able to counter, but I would not want to make someone else counter it. If you want to build something like this, you're much better off at this point just building somebody else's. Though I like my design and I'm quite happy and proud of it, it's not something I would want someone else to build. It's just there's just too many minor little glitchy things. You're better off building like a hypercube. There are a few things I like about mine. One of the big things I was very adamant I had to do was my belt paths are exactly parallel, square, and straight, both top and bottom, which is why this tower is so tall and obnoxious. Which, actually, I think the Evo does. The regular Hypercube doesn't, but I think the guy who did redesign it and made the Evo did straighten it out, if I remember correctly. But mine has a perfect belt path, which is why I'm doing this, is because it wasn't so perfect. I mean, it was still better than I've looked at other llamaCoreXYs and I've gone, wow, they let the towers, because there's always the corner towers. They're letting their towers bow like that. Matter of fact, somebody, I don't even remember who, just did a remake that I watched on the llamaCoreXY there that he just, you know, changed. They supposedly improved it and everything, and even he was saying it's not much improved. But it is cheap. And the thing about that llamaCoreXY build that I kind of stick with is I would still buy that for the money and not as to build a llamaCoreXY, but to use it for a base to build something better. But you are not. You could buy that and you get all the parts. You have to change some of the crap, but 90% of the parts are there. You have a base to start with. All the motors are there, the board's there, the electronics are there. You know what I mean? You have a base unit, which is a good thing. And while I got them out, I might as well check the bearings. Geez, that's like really nice. Surprisingly nice. Okay. One down. Let's put the new one back together. This is the fun part, because if I remember correctly, this was rather difficult to line up, especially without my glasses. And now I've got this thing in the way to make it even harder. Which is going to make it excessively annoying, or isn't it? But I think I just came up with a secret plan by using this and just pushing it around. One down. I forgot the washer. You moron. Sometimes I can't believe how dumb I am. No. That's the old one because it doesn't have the little new support. Drop this in. Oops, that didn't work. Drop that one in. Drop this one in. We'll line them up and make it work. Just a light bit of pressure on it so it traps it, and then I can just push it around with this, right? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? How come it's not working? Okay, where's that code on? There we go. One down. Okay, how about not lining up to the next hole? I already checked all this. Ah, darn you. I do not clear out that one. There we go. I'm going to go chasing after my pulley that just rolled away. Oh, crap. Where did it roll away to? Oh, right here. That was quick. I rolled away and then kind of rolled back. Oh, and I'm too old for getting up. I'll bring that back just enough so I can drop this in. This is kind of annoying, but it's kind of the whole idea of this plan. I don't know if I can do it with a pair of needles. Just guide it to wherever I want. See, that works. That worked really, really easy. And you know, the other part I forgot to do was pre-anchor the screw. That was really dumb. Goes really close. I wonder if I can just drop it in there and get it to catch. And I think I can. By just going like this, putting some weight on it, pushing that down. This is really stupid, but it might actually work. Seems like it's working. It's working. I got 3 whole viewers watching me do this like an idiot. Tension it down. And there we go. And the new tower is ready to be mounted. You know, if I remember correctly, everything was slip-ins except for these two. Which means, if I remember correctly, oh, and I added 2 to this. Yes, I did. I thought I made these holes just a little bit looser, but I guess I didn't. Not long enough. I got long ones and short ones, and I don't remember which went where. You know what? Well, that's tight, and it shouldn't be, but I'm actually kind of okay with it. And that one's not. And yet they're all the same size. What is up, Chris Riley and Minnesota Maker? Who else is here? Trolling was already here. Holy crap, Chris Riley's going to watch me do something stupid. Oh, wait, he doesn't do stupid stuff. I do stupid stuff. That's right. What did I do with those? I know I have some here somewhere. What did I do with the extra T-nuts? I want to slip in, not to spin in. Which I'm going to have to fight, but it'll be worth it in the long run. I think I only got one left. That's brilliant. Of course I only have one left. Well, that's all right. Because these I can make spin ins, and it really helps if I get the right key. Yeah. No, I've watched enough of your streams, believe me. I have, Mr. Riley. I have. And let's see, I got one there. I got one there. I got one there. So I need one right here. Now, why do I have long ones? I only should need 2 long ones for the top. How did the long ones get in there? Those go there. That goes there. That lines up with that one. That lines up with that one. That lines up with that one. That one lines up with that one. So I'm missing 3, 4. Oh, okay. Now I know I added some. I added these 2 corner ones. They weren't originally part of it, as you can see. There was no hole here or here. And I've added it to make it just that much more awesome. Of course, most of mine I learned I did something stupid. Yeah, well, we did. If you don't do something stupid, you're not having fun, right? These are 10s. Do I want 10s or 12s? Do I have any 12s? I know I don't want 8s for this. I think I want 10s. There's a lot of screws for this one little thing. Why did I design it that way? Why am I such an idiot? I think that's going to bottom out on me. Is it? I can't tell because it's all like dark out. Is that going to bottom out in the channel? If at first you don't succeed, grab a different piece of 2020. No, it is not. Matter of fact, I kind of like it. Well, that's a good thing. Let's put more in. I hope I did this all right. I'll feel like a real idiot if I got to put the old towers back on, which I don't see how I could have done it wrong because I used the same model. I just modified it. But you know me. I could have done something moronic to it while I was editing it because that's just what I do. You've been staying quiet, Rover? Why would you do that? Okay. Where'd my screw go? That was pretty dumb. Tighten it down, back it off. These things, I'm never going to get these all to line up. It's just not going to happen. These two I can't have in yet because I'll never get it to slide together. Then you got to go in after. And I still don't think I'm going to get this thing to slide in here without fighting it. I wish I had spring-loaded ones. It would make life so much easier. And we're going to be able to do this. Getting this first one to line up is going to be the bear. But it just doesn't want to. And I hate those damn spin-in ones, which is what I'm going to end up using. You can see it already. I just don't think I'm going to get that one to line up. Nope. Which is probably why I had spinning in it in the first place. I'm like an owl, mouth shut, fingers, ears, and eyes open. Yeah. Does anyone believe that crap? Anybody believe in that? So it's the spinning ones that half the time don't spin and are obnoxious, but you know, hey, we got them and we're gonna make them work, because that's what I do. I take the stuff that's wrong and I make it work. That's pretty much what I do. That's what I do for a real life living. Take other people's crap they screwed up and make it work. So in theory, this should just slide right down now. In theory. How do I know it's not going to happen? Come on, I've done this before. These things spin too easy. There's got to be an easier way. All right, there's one. Of course, my glasses now are going to fall off my face, so I can't see what the hell I'm doing. There's absolutely no light over there. So let's make some. Hey, light helps. Okay, that should go. Everything's lined up. A little force, maybe? Everything's lined up. I don't know why they're not going. Probably because that one's all tightened up on me. Come on, glasses. I hate having to wear glasses. Okay, it spins and then straightens out, and just as I go to drop it in, the stupid T-nut tees out. Oh, there's got to be a better way. Seriously. There's a better way. Spring-loaded T-nuts, which I should have gotten. That way I can just bring them in, set them where I need it. And be all set. And this is probably why I didn't design these upper ones into it in the first place. Freaking glasses. They never stay on your face when you need them. Come on, baby, you're right there. I can see you. This one's lined up. Just this one, it doesn't want to line up. Here we go. Yay! Well, that was obnoxious, but it's there. That one held. That one held. That one felt like it held. That one feels like it's spinning out. Nope. Everything's holding. Hey, that's unusual. Just a few more to do. I'm halfway there with this one tower. This one looks like it's already lined up, which it was. Wow, that was too easy. And this one looks like it's all lined up, which it should have been because I didn't move anything. And it is, and it twisted in and everything like it's supposed to. And then this one goes right here, and it looks like that T-nut's still where it was. And it's not, but I can get it there. Just give it a little push. And now it's where it belongs. That was easy. That's a nice stiff setup. Definitely an improvement over the old ones. Hopefully. Hopefully. I am working on a revision of the Hypercube Evo. Yeah, this is my own design, and I highly recommend that someone not do this. Because this is about, well, I think this is year 2 investment in it, and it's still not quite ready for prime time. I'm not going to go too deep. Nope. It is not. Come on here. Get back in there. It go behind it. I think it did. Did it catch it? Nope. Freaking glasses. I hate them falling off your head. That's perfect. Right up, spun into place. So it looks like one's down. That went fairly easy considering. If I remember correctly. I had more difficulty initially putting the old ones in. And there we go. Tower 1 down. You are working on a revision? You're doing the revision? Trolling for dollars? Or a revision of that you're working on, that you're just building? Or did you do the revision? Like my dumbass designing this thing from scratch. Thinking, oh, I got better answers for everything. Yeah, not. It was all in good intentions. I had good intentions. That's for sure. This one can come all the way out because it's not going to change in its location. This one can come all the way out because it's not going to change in its location. This one can come all the way out because it's not going to change in its location. And this one's going to come all the way out because it's not going to change in its location. Come on, you. What's the problem? I think that one's unscrewed all the way. Drafting now. So you're drawing it. You're changing. Yeah, there was a couple of things actually when I started doing this. I was actually looking at the Hypercube. Then I looked at the Evo, and there was stuff I really didn't like about either one of them, and it was the belt path was the biggest. I am very much these belts need to be parallel and straight. I don't like them when they go off at angles. I know it really doesn't matter. The only place that matters is right here and right at the motors. If you have an angle going to this head, as it moves back and forth, people don't realize it's a mathematical calculation of a slope. And as you pull it, that slope changes. So you get errors. Because if you have a pivot and it's centered and the angle is like this, and then you pull it, this one's going to decrease and this one's going to increase. And it's going to do the opposite as it goes back and forth. And then actually change your mathematical calculations of how far it's going to move with each pull. I know it sounds ridiculous, but believe it or not, it's actually the truth. And so I designed this one to have everything dead-ass parallel. Which was my hopes and dreams, and I actually got that part of it done. And I also wanted all of my construction outside the frame, because everyone builds these big, massive 500 millimeter frames. And then they put all the stuff inside, and you end up with like a 250 millimeter build area. Well, I never plan on doing ABS or any of that stuff, so I'm not worried about enclosing the thing. So I deliberately put all my mounting hardware on the outside only, all my tracks, everything. The only thing I didn't beat it on, because I just got tired of trying to figure out, were these, and I can do it. I built this bed so it's changeable. I just got tired of fighting it, and I just wanted this thing running, so I just built it real quick. But I could still actually move this outside and put this outside and have that full. I should be able to do like 480, 490 on a 500 millimeter frame. Should. The key word is should. But not everything worked out, and I couldn't even afford the build plate. The biggest one I could afford was a 300 millimeter heated bed, because they're ridiculously expensive. The 300 millimeter are actually fairly cheap. They're not much more than the regular 2020 or 220 or whatever. But anything over 300 millimeters was like ridiculous in prices. They were like hundreds of dollars just for the heated bed. So she's a 300 by 300 by, I think I got about 460 in bed height. Because again, well, you can't probably see it. Well, if I bring it over here, you might be able to. If you look, I've actually got this. You can actually see it over here. I have this on the upper part of the 4020. It's actually designed to be on the lower part. Again, I just did it because it was easier to design the belt path at the time and mount everything. But I can always change it at a later date. Whoa! No rollaways, not happening. Not allowed. We already had one of those today. I'm going to get my nut out of there. It's a lock nut. And I want that there lock nut. Come on out, lock nut. Thank you. Oh, that's not a lock nut. The other one was. Well, what's up with that? Maybe that's why it was creaking. But you can see I was starting to get failures on this one, which I never noticed because it was on the back corner. See all this stress cracking right here? That's not from the print. That's actually stress cracks. And this one was also stress cracking up here. You can sort of see it around the hole. But again, when I originally printed these were not planned to stay. They're printed really thinly with like 2 shells and like 20% infill was all. They were just tests to see if it would work. And they've been there ever since I built the damn thing. This has got 4 shells and 40% infill. Plus I put this extra beam in here. So, and these things bow very little. They are bowing. I noticed it bowing, and that's why I said I'd replace it. But they're bowing very little under the weight. I've seen llamaCoreXY machines with much worse. What's up, Sean? So let's put this thing back together. I want a lock nut in there. I do not want to put. I got it. This is crap. All right, I want a lock nut in there, so I don't ever have to worry about it again. And I think this is the right size. And it is. So you put it on backwards. And you just get it started. Then you stick it in the hole. And you push it down in there. Come on, baby. And then you back out the screw and the lock nut, hopefully, yes, stays there. Then you should have reamed out my hole and made sure they all line up. And everything lines up. God, I'm awesome. And then drop our little pulleys in to the hole. And then take the little thing and trap the pulley, and then just take your little stick here. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'm trying to make it so you can see what I'm doing, but you can't really see what I'm doing. And just line this up by pushing it around. Come on now. I've done this before. I know you can. You know what worked easier? The needle nose. And I can just place it wherever I want. Hey, that worked. I might actually release the files to this rather soon, because if this works and I fix the, well, you can't see it, but the way the lead screws are mounted and the weight carrying for the Z-axis is not ideal. It works. It actually works really well, but it takes a lot of tweaking and balancing and squaring and to make it work good, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, and the thing drops and does all kinds of bad stuff. And the average everyday builder would be like, what? Why did you design it like that? Ah! And I wouldn't blame them, because it is kind of freaking stupid. All right, do they roll? That one rolls. That one rolls, and that baby's down tight. So I am good. That rolls really nicely. And it's cranked down. That's actually almost too loose in there, but that's all right. It's got a little bit of play. I really didn't want any play. I designed it with shoulders in it that should only contact the bearing, not the, if you do these right, I was watching someone who's like, oh, if you over compress it, it'll stop it. If you design this right, there's a shoulder in here that hits the bearing. So when you tighten this down, you shouldn't hit this pulley. You should hit the race of the bearing. Now, when you compress it all you're compressing is the race, and the actual bearing and pulley should spin, even though you got it cranked down. If it's designed properly, which these are. I'm pretty good at that. And now that tasty, very amazing difference lime mix. Oh, a rum and coke with lime is good, because I know that's what you're drinking. I know. How do I know? Because I know. I just know. It's raining out, and I got the window open, and hopefully it's not raining on my bed, and it's not. Why did that look too long? Guess it's not. Oh well. Okay. Now watch, I'm going to run out of M10s. I got 8. Crap. Well, the 8 will still actually work. It's just going to be really difficult. I really prefer these, but you know what? I think I'm going to go with the stupid spin-ins, because it's just easier to get it in there. Except for, I think I'm almost out of them. I might be out of them. Well, this could be quickly coming to an end. I know I got more of them somewhere. I got tons of them. Just where are they? Is the question. That's all islands. That's all wiring. I don't need those two. I got brandy new real ones, which I might just make myself use. Or we go to this box, which I think is where they all are. Moving the mic. Y'all can still hear me, right? Not that you really want to. What do we got in here? Bearings, wobblies, everything but what I wanted. Here's a loose one. I bet there's a couple of loose ones in here. Here's another loose one. Might as well use up them loose ones so I don't have to clean them all up, because I am cleaning. That's it. Tomorrow is clean my freaking crap out day, because I'm really tired of this right here. Searching. Oh, you know what? I know where they are. They're at my freaking boss's house. I was using them on the CNC machine. That's where they all are. Gosh darn it. That was pretty dumb of me. But I have these. And there is a trick to these. If I file the edge of it so it slides in a little easier, I'm just not even going to bother. I'm just going to do it. I have faith I can make it work. I have faith in myself. Yeah, no, I'm not drinking tonight. Not yet, anyways. I might later. Just not yet. Bed squishies, making it so the screw doesn't want to go in all the way. Strip it out. There we go. Okay, line up. There we go. That's what I wanted you to do. Okay, you need to push through like that. Stop catching on the damn plastic and do what I tell you to do. Not what you want to do. I'm going to run out of these screws too, aren't I? Because I bet all my good screws are on that frickin' CNC machine that I'll never ever get running. I hate dropping crap. It's just annoying. My big ass fingers have a hard time getting in there. And a dumbass, I'm putting it on upside down. That's brilliant. Hey, let's put the T-nut on backwards. That's just the best thing in the world to do. I am doing a straight up absolute citron straight from the freezer. That's not bad either. You know what I like even better than the citron, believe it or not, is the orange one there, the mandarin. Absolute mandarin is like, oh, that stuff is the bomb. I love that crap. All right, if I can get these first two to line up and just slide down, which I can already see isn't going to happen. Might be getting out my little Dremel tool grinder head and grinding the tips off. So they have no choice but to go in the channel. Because they just want to spin me away the minute they touch anything. Yep, what's happening? They're going to get ground, baby. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, and here's a secret. This moron moment brought to you by Tom. Yep, that would be me. I'm sure you've all seen the difference between these, which is the regular T-nut, and the spin-in T-nuts, which suck. I hate these spin-ins because half the time they catch and they don't spin all the way in and blah, blah, blah. The problem is getting these to go in. Now, they make the spring-loaded ones for these, which are really nice, but they're like $10 for like 5 of them, which is ridiculously expensive. So what I've learned is I take these, I take my little grinder head on my Dremel, and I grind the point off. And of course, these are real steel ones, not aluminum, which I thought they were just the aluminum ones I had. Come to find out these are real steel. So it's going to take a little bit more work. But that'll do it. You know, it's very hot too. As I grab into it. So then you end up with this, and I'm not going to even touch it with my hand. And if you look, I can get it positioned right to the camera and focus on it. See how it's like pitched? Now it'll actually feed into the slot and self-center itself. It's awesome. It's not perfect. It doesn't always work, but it should. And I know that thing's freaking hot. Yep, she's warm. Rather warm. Let's do the other one. This looks safe. Hey, that's why they make these things called glasses, and I actually have safety glasses, which I should be wearing. And these are actually really cool because they have magnifiers on the bottom. They're my cheaters. Come on. I need to use these so it won't pivot on me. And I know she's hot. Very, very hot. Very, very hot. Do not touch with bare fingers because it will burn you. And you get a little point. Not that you can see it. Very, very hot. This is very, very hot. And my face is very, very hot. Before I go any farther, let me get all this metal dust off my desk. And I just shot metal dust everywhere like a dumbass. That's what this puppy's for. But don't soak up my nuts and bolts. All right, back to getting this done.
9 o'clock.
What do I do with the thing? Cool off now. And you put the angle side down so it feeds into the 2020 nicely. Sensing another moron moment coming up. Yep, pretty much. This doesn't always work either. I've done this a few times, and sometimes it helps, and sometimes it just doesn't. You're still just fighting it. So it's a 50-50 whether all that time and energy spent to grind the freaking tip down is even going to help. But you know what? It was fun. I had fun doing it. Did you guys have fun watching? Oh, the grinder noise? Yeah, I didn't even think of that. If you got pets. Okay, what's up with that? That's not right. I cross-thread it? It went all the way in, so how could it be cross-threaded? Alrighty then. Put the little pointy side down, put the little pointy side down, put the little pointy side down. Those two should slide right in there. Like the bottom. I'll watch, it's not going to work. Ah, I told you. Okay, what's the matter? Did I get into the threads with the grinder like a dummy? No. Not at all. So what's the problem here? Oh, I see. There's plastic in the way. Let's try that again. Why are you not going on there? You should thread right on there like a stream. Like that. Yeah, baby. I just wasn't square, I guess. Try that again. Line them up. Get them straight. Hopefully they'll just slide right in there. How is it I just straightened it up and it's crooked before I can get it over there again? Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. Come on, baby. Okay, you're both there. Why aren't you going on? Looks like this one's tight. Too tight. I stabbed myself in the throat with a screwdriver. Okay, what's catching? Because it doesn't look like they are. Like something else is jamming up. I don't see what. They're lined up. Right, there we go. See, they were lined up nicely. We're going to line up the other two. And of course, I can't see because I'm old and blind. Well, that worked. Holy crap. What do you know? Success. And these going to bottom out. No. So these can go right here. This one will go over here. No screws haven't moved, so nothing's moved there. Or that just didn't line up or something. And there we go. Well, why isn't it twisting? I hate it when these T-nuts don't spin. Not gonna frickin' spin. I hate that. Just slides right up into the channel. That's why I hate them spinning ones. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, it's only half spinning. Oh, I hate that. Is it just me, or do you guys all hate them frickin' things too? They don't want to spin half the time. You gotta like force them. Okay. Take it out. Push it down. Push it up. Well, it's like 3/4. There it goes. This one up. We're almost there. There should be a T-nut already there. Just waiting for this screw to come into it. Like a little girl we once knew. Okay, what's going on there? Oh, I missed it. That's what went on. Didn't miss that time. That spun right into place and everything. That was sweet. Oh, by the way, the other little tip, I always have one or two of these. I magnetize the tip of it. So when I do the T-nuts, I can guide them around in the slot with it while I'm tightening with the other one. Pretty ingenious idea. And it works quite well when it works. And then you can push it in or pull it out or put it wherever you want it. I need a screw first. I think this one's too long. I'm gonna bottom out. Yep, that bottoms out. This one doesn't. I think that one's almost too short. Yeah, I'll make it work. It's only an 8. I think I can get it to catch. Come on, baby. Where are you? There we are. And it spun. Oh my god, that was awesome. Never had one go that easily. Snug everything down now. And then it's belt time. That was actually less painful than I thought it was going to be. It actually all went together. I know it was still kind of a pain, but still went together faster than I thought I was going to get it together. All right. This is the upper belt, so that is the lower belt. Well, let's do the lower belt first. Wow, this thing's kind of shredded. It's all right. It's an area. It really doesn't matter. And then down to here. All the way down to there and around. Then it goes in somewhere over here. That's the back side. And it goes into the lower clamp. Which, of course, there's a screw in the way. Forgot about that stupid design of mine. Hey, let's put a bolt right in the middle where the belt's got to come out. That was freaking brilliant of me. But I can get it. And then the upper belt. Here. Let's not twist it like I was getting ready to do. God, I hope I didn't twist that one, did I? That's straight. Why does that look wrong? Oh, because there's a little kinky right there. Okay. And then this one goes through here. Goes through here. And goes through the upper clamp. Then, this is the other thing I didn't design too well, is how to tension them. Which actually I've gotten pretty good at. But okay. And you're going to laugh when you see how I do this, but it actually works pretty well once you get how I do it. It's kind of funky. It's not the most intelligent thing I've ever done, but it does work. Believe it or not, it actually works. All right, I'm going to skin out, jump in my game for a bit of great night, everyone. God bless. Okay. See you, Sean. See ya, Shalom. How tight do I got that? Not quite tight enough. That's tight enough. And that will hold temporarily until I fold it back and get the other one on there. Now here's the fun part, squaring the entry. Now this is where most people with a llamaCoreXY screw up, because they just go by belt tension, and you should, in theory. But there's more to it than just belt tension. The way to even the belts, all things said and done, is to actually square it to the track. Then you know, all things given equal, that you have your tensions even. Because no matter how nice you make all of these belts and everything on this one, there will be some play and you can pitch your gantry out. There we go, even more, really. Really. I'm getting it there, I just don't think I'm keeping it there. There we go. And there we go. Darn close. Okay. So, need about that much. That is freaking perfect. And I should have freaking put this tie wrap on there already. That pin freaking slipped. I'm going to have to redo it. But if you're smart, you put this tie wrap on beforehand, just loosely. So all you got to do, once you get it in place, is tighten it up. Now I got to do that all over again. And there we go. all I have to do is tighten this up. And that is there. Then I put the secondary on, and what I do is I always leave these little tails so I can yank on it. Which again, this is my own stupidity design, but it does work. But I leave the tails and I fold it back. So when I clamp this, it's still clamping the teeth together, but it folds the extra handle, pull, string, whatever you want to call it, back and out of the way. Like so, which you guys probably can't see what I'm doing. Nope. Need to get like an overhead camera one set up. Anybody even still here watching? That actually sort of works. Believe it or not. Clamps everything in place. Quite well, actually. I need one more zip tie. God, I got 2 purple zip ties left. I'll be very upset if I have to use a non-purple zip tie on my purple machine. And the belt tensions feel about even, which they should be in theory. And they are tight. The other thing is too, when you tighten the second one up, the first one you tighten, you always leave a little bit loose, because when you tighten the second one up, it actually tensions the first one with it. That makes sense. Are the teeth lined up? Yes, they are. So that's all clamped. And then I snippy snip all of this. And I should be ready to go. That should be that. And now you know why I don't have I haven't released the patterns for this, because this is stupid. This belt thing that you can't see because the it's in the way. I might actually be able to let you see it. I have these belt loops right here. Put your finger on it, Tom. I'm trying to do it through the camera. And they're just zip tied. And all I do is yank on them and square the gantry up. This gantry to this gantry. If I square this corner up, the belt tensions, all things given, should be even, which they are. But this is stupid. I need to make something you can turn a nut and adjust, which is down the road. Okay, what happened? Mr. Camera. So anyways, this should be ready to run again. In all theory, clean up my crap. God, I hate crap. Made a big old mess. So is Mr. Chris Riley still here? You still here, Chris? When are you going to do your own 3D printer? I want you to design a 3D printer. Tell you what, I want to design a 3D printer with you. How's that? We will design one, because we can take some of the good stuff I have in this and add some stuff to replace the bad stuff in this and make one good printer. That would be awesome. Oh, there's my other screw. I need it. Screw. All right, all this stuff goes back away here, over here, over here, in here. Low battery. Close. See why. You should check out Great Belt Tensioner Design. Well, the problem is converting it to made up with the head I designed for this thing, which again wasn't my most brilliant moment in life. Let's fire this thing up. See how she moves. And if she'll make all kinds of noises. And if you look, not that you can really see, if you look at my belt pass, which when you bring the camera up, you do, but if you look at my belt pass, everything is parallel as it moves. These are all in line. They're straight lines. These are parallel. These are all parallel. Everything is parallel and straight lines. There's no angles anywhere, which makes for a more mathematically accurate movement. That makes sense. Let us fire up the Duet Wi-Fi control panel, which I should just do on that thing. Except for it just said I was low powered on my unit here. Make sure I haven't shorted out anything. Not that I had my hands anywhere near really anything wiry. Home X, Home Y. It's homing. You can even see I did this thing over it. It's homey. It's been homied. Got a better view? Not really. Yeah, that was the hardest part of getting mine set up perfect, getting all the belt roots perfectly aligned. Yeah, that's the hardest part of design. And every other design I've seen, I didn't like the way they ran belts. Or the original, if you go way back to his original Hypercube, he actually came out the back on the back side and he twisted the belts so they'd clear each other. And I'm just like, no. Don't want twisted belts anywhere. It's just not the way to do it. The minute you twist the belt, you're adding all kinds of wear and tear and resistance issues and just wear on the edge of the belt, because the edge of the belt is going to rub on the top of the pulley or the lip of the pulley, and it's a bad idea to twist the belt if you don't have to. So that looks like it was successful. And everything seems to be moving fine. Let's kick her out 100 millimeters. Everything sounds good. Nice and quiet. No creakies, no groanies. The belts look all perfect. No twists, no runs, no rubs, no height differentiates. That's the other thing I did everything I could to make it so all my heights here, when this is here, there's no twist, there's no difference in heights. These are perfectly plumb and level. These are perfectly plumb and level. Everything here is perfect. It took a lot of doing. But I got it. And it seems to be working. All I gotta do is make the bed a little bit better. I gotta stop this. I'm gonna make this cable go somewhere. I don't like it the way that rubs. Don't bring up the bed. Yep. Which shouldn't have changed because I didn't change anything there. All I did was replace those two towers. And they definitely look straighter and truer. To be honest with these, they weren't that bad. And no one would have noticed but me. But if you I actually took the squares like that. Kind of, you get the right light and you can kind of see the arc in it. And I couldn't tell. I literally had to take a square and put it up to it. And I could rock the square on it a little bit. I was like, yeah, it's not bad. And it wasn't. But this top piece here, matter of fact, you can almost see it. I don't know if you can see it in the camera over here. You can almost see it. It was actually pulling this down. So this belt was just not lined up good. I mean, I shouldn't say that because it was still far, far better than most of the cheapo kits. Yeah, there's some stress cracks, though. That's a major one right there. I never even saw that. That's like a buckle into plastic. Wow, I can break that. Look at that. Well, I guess that was the perfect time to switch that out, huh? And the funny thing is, thing's been running absolutely beautifully for like the last 2 weeks. It's been running the nicest it ever has. The other thing I noticed is this crack right here. There's like a stress crack right down the middle of it. But again, I printed these as demos. I never planned on these staying on there as long as they did. They've been on there a year, over a year. And they were only printed with, I think I printed with 2 shells and like 20% infill. There's not much to it. Because they were just supposed to be demos. I was just making sure I had the heights lined up. Because I have this bar only like a millimeter above the framing here. The black bar, my cross X bar, is literally riding less than a millimeter above the silver framing here, which you can't see because I don't have the camera pointed at it. This is my X bar. If you look, oh, I got the motors on. If you watch it move, I gotta do the other one. Why? If you look right underneath between the silver right here and this black bar, there's less than a millimeter of clearance here. It's really tight, but it's just enough. I designed this so wheel base and these to all line up. It was not an easy task. There was lots and lots of failures. Matter of fact, if you watched the stream this morning that I was doing with Wiley, my garbage can is full of all the failures of stuff like that. Anyways, that's it. What are you guys up to? Who wants to join in the little thing here? And we could just BS and play off and have fun now. Anybody on here? Naked, you got to jump in. I don't think I've ever seen you in an actual person view. Knack. Actually, I know I have because I've seen some of your videos. But I don't think I've ever seen you in a hangout. Who else is still here? Anybody? Speak up. Is the printer there you're working on? Can you join the let's see, did I have the right one here? NV, that's the YouTube. I want people to join in the hangout. NC. NV. Come join the hangout. Especially if you got that thing sitting there. It says 6 watching. Yeah, that doesn't mean they're actually watching. A lot of people are nice and they just sign on and they just leave it running in the background and walk away. And that gives people views, which is actually a nice thing to do. But oh, come on. Like Chris. Chris probably signed on and just left me running in the background and walked away. Because he's got his own thing to do. You don't need to sit here and watch me play with mine. Although he's probably laughing the whole time I was doing it, going, holy crap, this idiot's doing what? Fighting water problems in my makerspace. What kind of water problems? You realize in my real life, I'm a carpenter / construction / general contractor. That's what I do for a real life living. So if you have building issues, I can help you. Flooding from all the rain, you need footing drains. Pretty simple. It's the ultimate answer. And they're really not as hard to put in as people think. You can do them yourself. They're quite easy. You actually don't even need footing drains. I call them foundation drains because you don't actually have to put them all the way down to your footings. Is your makerspace in the basement? So it's the water's coming in from up above and down into the basement. Even still, when it's only a rain problem, yeah, you'll still get some groundwater that comes up. But a lot of times you can dig down around your foundation and put the whole pipe in the pipe with the holes in. I don't know if you ever seen that. An irrigation pipe. It's cheap. It's like $10 for 10 feet. And you put it on there, put some silk fabric around it. Make sure it pitches whatever direction you want it to pitch it to. You dig down about 2 feet, put the pipe in it, put the fabric around it, put some crushed stone on top of it. Done. Everyone thinks it's wicked expensive, and it's not cheap. Don't get me wrong. You do it yourself, you can do it for under $2,000 easy. That's I'm way over exaggerating, and that's if you do every freaking thing perfect, and you don't really have to. Is it a good idea? Yes, to do a proper footing drain. If it's an emergency, I need to stop the water coming into my basement, then you can do the half-assed version, and it does help quite a bit. Oh, there's a cure for that too, but you're not going to want to hear it. Why do you have two separate sections? What is an addition? Somebody put an addition on and did not seal the foundation. Well, there is a way around that too. You don't have to do it from the outside. You can do it from the inside if you have access to the concrete, to the wall. But it ain't fun and it ain't easy. It's still easier than digging up your whole yard. Most people will just slap more sealant over the crack. You don't want to slap sealant over the crack. You want to drill into the crack in multiple spots and inject the sealant. Good thing is to use like hydraulic fluid, or hydraulic cement. Expands, fills the crack. So what you do is you actually go in, if this is your crack, you go in and drill at an angle, like 10 holes, about an inch in diameter with a concrete bit. And you take a big ass syringe full of hydraulic cement and you force it into that crack. And if you can get it all to fill that crack right in and start oozing back out after you seal it, that will seal it. The hydraulic cement will seal it. And then you put a, watertight membrane, paint crap over it. If you just paint the inside of it, which is what everyone does, you guys wonder why it doesn't work. Because the water still seeps in, hits that paint seal, and expands the concrete. The concrete absorbs it. You have to stop it from getting in to the raw edge of the concrete. No drilling in my crack. You might want someone to drill in your crack if your crack is leaking, dude. If your crack's leaking, get the doctor to drill in it. Oh, if you're getting groundwater coming up from underneath, you're screwed. You need to put proper footing drains in. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Don't even try and do the interior French drains. Put a proper exterior footing drain. And people call French drains, footing drains, French drains. French drains are inside the foundation. Footing drains are outside the foundation. That's the reality of it. French drains are the old way they used to do it before they actually poured concrete, and it was a stone hand laid foundation, and the water would bubble up, and they dig on the inside. They dig a trench and put the footing. They'd put a drain in, so even though the water was coming in, it would come in and hit that pipe and then bleed out. That's a French drain. A footing drain is on the outside, literally laying at the footing. It should almost be touching the footing, like 2 inches away, with crushed stone another 6 inches below it. Silk fabric wrapped around it. And if you do use that pipe and you try and do it yourself, remember the holes for the pipe go down, not up. Everyone wants to put the holes up. They're like, how does the water get in there? The water comes up from underneath. It's not coming down from above. Groundwater comes up. Anyways, we've totally gotten off of fixing a 3D printer. No, it's going to pour and pour and pour, and you're going to be a miserable, wet bastard. Is there a low side to your foundation? There's a semi-easy relief, at least, is you can pop a hole in the bottom corner. If you know which side is your lowest corner, you can just pop a hole in the corner and put a pipe in it. And, drill a 4-inch hole, literally like graze the floor so it's even lower than the floor, go down at an angle to the footing, put a pipe in it, and have it relieve pressure that way. And any groundwater that comes up into the floor runs down to that pipe and runs out. Yeah, proper wiring is overrated. That thing is still a mess. But I actually just got some of those low temperature soldering things. Does anyone use this? I don't know if I feel safe with them. I'm going to try them. There's a low temperature shrink wrap solder all built in. I haven't even opened it yet. I am a terrible solderer. I won't sweat pipes, so I won't do it. I'm terrible at it. These are the solder filled shrink wrap. I don't know if you've ever seen these. There's this little piece of low temperature solder in there. And then the 2 red circles are seal clamps that shrink. And then the whole thing is a shrink tube. And you basically just stick the 2 wires in there, twist them together, slide it over it, center that over the joint, and heat it up with the hot heat gun. And supposedly the solder melts and solders the 2 wires together. And the shrink wrap holds it all together. Yeah, well, I love this one. And I'm not saying that you're this dumb, but I went to a customer's house. We built a house and it wasn't finished. And the landscaper graded the lawn to the house. Instead of, when you grade a house, you build a new house, any house, if you're grading the lawn, you should have, at least here in New England, you should have a 6-foot skirt. And what I mean is the foundation comes out of the ground and you should have a downward slope for 6 feet in all directions away from the foundation, 6 feet. It should drop about 6 inches and 6 feet, a foot and an inch, for at least 6 feet. And it's barely noticeable if you do that. The average everyday person looking at it will just think it's flat, but it's not. It's enough to get the water to shed away from it. Well, the landscaper hadn't finished, and he dug down and pitched it toward it, and the people already moved in. There was just a few final BS things to do on the outside. The house itself was done. So it was pouring water right in, and we had a basement window drain, the basement windows. How are they called? I do this crap of my whole life, and now I can't remember the name of the damn things. The basement windows with the little hole in the ground with the stone in the bottom and the little half barrel. Anyways, the water's just pouring into those and pouring in and seeping in, and it's just a bad situation. So we're like, all right, we'll come drain it and make sure, your basement doesn't get any wetter and damaged where it's brand new. And he's like, all right, I'm going to put a sump pump out, to help draw it out. I'm like, cool, we'll be there in half an hour, however long it took us to get there. So we get there, and this guy had 3 sump pumps going, and he was pumping it all right back out the window. So it's pumping it out the window for it to come right back in the window. I looked at him like, really? Really, dude? Are you really that clueless? The water's coming in the window, so let's pump the water out to the window so it can come right back in the window. I don't know. Some people are clueless. What is up, Uncle Ron? When did you get here? I didn't even notice you were here. And here I was responding to you because you were talking about drilling your crack. You like your crack drilled. Get a filtration system made and get an indoor pool. Actually, not a bad idea. You don't even really need it. I mean, you don't need to do that much. You go out and you get some gunite and you spray some gunite about 4 or 5 inches because you don't need that much because you already have the regular concrete there. And then you spray it with some sealer. Put a pipe or 2, like you say, to get the filter in there. Put some UV lights down there to make sure you don't grow any mold. And Indoor swimming. Indoor swimming's good. We'll jump into the hangout, so I'm not just here babbling to myself. I mean, I do that pretty well, but you know, it's more fun when you get to babble at someone else. That's my next project. I got to make a proper screen. We've discovered that my TV, this is a super sensitive mic, and my TV actually puts in echoey noises. It's minor, but you get backfeed if I have anything going on the TV. Pump it out the window and back in. Is that the filtration? Yeah. That filters in more dirt. There is the hangout links. Come join the hangout. It is Friday night. You know, did Shalom leave? Shalom. I keep calling him Shalom. Shalom. His name is weird. I don't care. He's got a weird name. I mean, it's fitting because he's a weird dude, but he's got a weird name. I like Shalom. He's awesome. We had lots of fun last night. The two of us got pretty twisted and sat here and yacked like little girlies in high school. So does his son what have a weird name? Well, isn't one of them Mini Shom? So are these things any good? Has anyone tried these stupid things? I don't know who I was watching. I think I was watching Chuck, actually. Chuck Halibert, Film It Friday. And he uses them. And he's pretty smart and does a lot of electronic-y stuff. My only concern is if it's a low-temperature solder and, like, the heat bed wire starts heating up, is it going to pull the solder apart? I mean, I guess when the heat shrinks down on it, it kind of clamps it together because the little O-rings clamp down. They're actual seals. These are supposed to be watertight. And the little, you know, the red and yellow and blue and white rings clamp down on it, make it watertight. So I'm assuming it would hold it even if the solder melted again. But I don't know. It still makes me a little nervous. I mean, I don't care about fans and stuff. They don't generate enough heat. But I don't know. I originally got it because I wanted to redo the sloppy ass bed wiring here, which you can't see. This whole nightmare right here. I love my XT60 connector, but the soldering and joints, and it was basically an XT60 pigtail that I soldered onto the wires, that I soldered onto the bed, and I didn't do a very good job because I'm a terrible solderer. It's just I'm the worst at soldering. I just don't. Sweating pipes, oh my God. I can't do it. Thank God for PEX. My life would be miserable remodeling a house if I still had to sweat copper. PEX is awesome. Snap, click, done, sealed. I think I'm taking my dog back to the vet. Looks like the area where he was bit by the spider a few months ago is swelling up again. Bit by a spider? Ow.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. What is up, dude?
Oh, like I said, fighting all this water. Basically, the wall here in front of me is the high side of the house.
Yeah.
So the water's weeping in somewhere here underneath my counter. So literally, I have a wall of towels around me here. Just keeping the water from coming into where I walk.
Okay.
Every couple hours, I gotta rip it out.
Here's something to try. You take a cord and you plug it into you. You must have 220 down there somewhere. And you plug it in.
America 110.
Yeah, well, you still got 220 for washers and dryers and that kind of crap. Plug it into your 220. Throw the cord on the floor and do a little dance in the water.
Yeah, that would be good. But I didn't know, but I think Walter made that suggestion.
You know, there's another easy thing. Is it actually seeping in the wall or is it seeping up through the floor?
I have no idea in this room because before I bought the house, somebody paneled all the walls, so I have no idea what. I figure there's got to be mildew and mold and God knows what behind this wall. So at some point, probably this summer, I'm going to have to pull everything back out of here and gut it. Before I do, I'm going to get my burn pit going in the back. I'm going to put my respirator on, and everything that comes out of here is going straight on the fire.
Yeah. Is that so? You got a stud wall in front of the concrete then?
I think it's actually just furring strips, like 1x3s.
It's still considered a stud wall.
Yeah.
It's a wooden stud attached to the wall somehow. It's not just bare concrete. Is it sheetrock or is it?
No, it's just cheap paneling.
Well, is the paneling swelling?
No.
Then it's probably not leaking behind.
It's probably like not even 1/4 inch.
Yeah, well, that's my point. If the paneling, if there was a lot of water coming up behind that and it was sitting in the wall, even if it was just moisture, that paneling would buckle. It would start rainbowing down the wall.
Only across like the bottom.
Yeah, so most of the water's coming in. Yeah, so most of the water's coming in the seam between the footing and the wall, more than likely.
But you asked about the printer. This is all that's assembled right now.
Holy crap!
all the parts are printed. I've had it up. I mean, to give you an idea. Okay.
Are those C-rails? They are.
Yes.
Holy crap! Well, you're like
this framework is printed on it before I tore it all back apart.
Yeah, there you go. That was dumb of you. Why didn't you leave it together?
Because
you're like me. You can't. You always got to make it better.
Well, no. I mean, I had wires hanging everywhere. Now I've got all the holes drilled to feed the wiring through the C. You know, I'm not going to just tuck it in the grooves. No, I'm running it down the tubes. It's going to be completely hidden. But
you know the problem, I thought about doing all that with this. You know the problem with that is I like to screw with crap too much.
Well, I'm building.
And then you're just fighting yourself the next time you want to modify something.
Right. Well, I'm building this one this is the prototype, which once it's done, Midnight Giant's going to come get it, and he's going to print a bunch of stuff for Murph with it. And then I'm building one for him. And we're showcasing this thing at Murph.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
So it's going to be, I mean, I'm talking 400 by 400 build volume to infinity. So.
What is it going to be, a belt unit?
Yeah. Belt printer, rail core, duet. Yeah, I've got you notice the empty spot on that slide tray. It's got DuX. It's got room to upgrade to the DuX if anybody wants to try and make it into a tool changer when P3D releases the specs on tool changer.
I'm going to be long dead before they do that.
The belt will travel across here. The whole control system, everything's going to be completely hidden inside, encased. I'll have a pair of thumb screws here. The cool thing I can't wait to do at Murph is I'm going to have one 34-pin ribbon cable that's going to have all but the 4 wires for the heater and the hot end run to it. So really I can slide this tray out. I'll be like, oh, you want to see the workings of it? Oh, kill the power, pull the plug mid-print, slide it out, undo the 2 plugs, and slide that whole board out and be like, yeah, here you go. Here's the brain. Slide it back in.
That's actually pretty cool. That's a cool idea.
And turn it back on and let the print resume.
That's not a bad idea, actually. I thought about doing all that stuff, and then 2 years later, I was like, yeah, no, I just want this thing running. That's why a lot of the shortcuts I did, even the actual head carriage.
Yeah.
I finally gave up, and I just didn't want to design anymore. So I actually bought the Open Builds little mini 2020 aluminum block carriage thing. Freaking thing's expensive, $35 or $40 I paid for that. 4 wheels and aluminum plate. Come on. But I didn't care at that point. I just wanted it running.
Yeah, somebody asked me like, well, does that belt printer really print?
Oh yeah, that was good. Oh yeah, I can see how it's in an angle.
Yeah, that was printed on it.
That's pretty cool.
Both of these swords were printed on it.
Well, then why the hell did you take it apart again if it was working?
Well, I had it mocked up with a 9.5-inch wide belt sitting right here in the middle of it, because my uncle used to own a machine shop. Before he closed the machine shop down, he goes, "Hey, the building's almost empty. There's a little bit of junk in there. If you want to go root through it before they tear the building down, you're welcome to it." I walk into the back storeroom, and I found this huge spool of stainless steel heat treating foil.
That's stainless?
Yeah.
That's about $1,000 right there.
I know. And nobody, it was buried in a corner under a shelf in the dust, and nobody saw it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm taking it because I knew it was stainless.
Because that's the new thing with houses, too, is we used to, when you build the house, you have the concrete foundation and you have your wood plate where you actually start building the wood structure, and you used to put a foam seal between it. Well, come to find out, modern pressure treated, because we no longer use arsenic in it. It's all just crushed pennies. Mm-hmm. And the acid they use to bleed the pennies and pressure treat the wood, because people don't realize pressure treated lumber is just pennies, crushed up pennies. They put the board in there, they soak it in this solvent with the crushed pennies in it, and then they pressurize the wood, and all that liquid and copper soak into the wood, and that's what preserves it. It's basically copper coated wood. Well, the solvent they use to float the copper eats the foam.
Oh, nice.
So all these, last 15, 20 years, we've been putting a foam seal, which is an air seal / bug seal / everything seal. Come to find out, 10 years later, if you wanted to remodel or something and you cut the plate out, the foam is just disintegrated. It turns into like powder underneath it. So now we have to use copper or stainless steel as a seal between the foundation and the house. You know how much that increased? That foam was like $2 for a 100-foot roll.
Oh, wow.
Copper is like $2 for an inch of plate, because it's puff copper. I don't know, what puff copper is, but it's kind of like it's very similar to like the poppy things for packing.
Okay.
The packing popcorn sheets. It's very similar to that, but it's actual ribs. So when you crush it down, it forms to the concrete and the wood. It's not just a thin sheet. It's basically two thin sheets with waves in them that are welded together at certain spots.
Kind of like corrugated cardboard?
Yeah, very similar. It's more like packing peanuts. Not peanuts, but what are the ones you crush? They pop.
I don't know what you call them. I just call them bubble wrap.
Yeah, bubble wrap. That's it. It's very much like bubble wrap, but instead of being an individual little bubble, it's a tube bubble. But other than that, it's very similar. But it's either stainless steel. It's supposed to be really soft stainless steel, which is, I don't know, it's like A9 stainless or some crap. I can never remember what the hell it is. Or copper. Believe it or not, the stainless steel is actually cheaper than the copper.
Sorry, trying to do something here.
Bubble wrap. Yeah, that was what I don't know why I couldn't think of bubble wrap. My brain is shot. My brain's on vacation already.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get at least a dent in this thing done this nice long holiday weekend.
Yeah. Well,
the only problem is I still need about $100 worth of wire and connectors.
I'm off for a good month, maybe 2. It's that time of year. I'm done for the winter. I'm not going outside and working until the sun comes up at like a normal hour.
Yeah, I wish I could go to sleep and wait till the sun comes up again at a normal hour.
Yeah. Well, the sad part is I go to work and the sun's not up. And by the time I go home, the sun's already down.
Mm.
It's like, come on. And I'm not even doing a long day. I'm doing a short day. It's like you can't work a long day because there isn't enough daylight here anymore. It's the other thing that sucks about New England is, The sun comes up right now about 7:30, and it goes down at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's about what we're at here.
Look that.
Maybe 5 when the sun goes down.
Frick
here.
that. I'm ready to not necessarily move to Florida, but I'm thinking I don't know, somewhere else, somewhere south. I don't mind the cold so much. I mean, here it is. It's like 50 degrees outside, and I literally got out of the shower and I opened my windows, turned my heat off. It's like 65 in here, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm comfortable. I don't mind cool or cold. I don't like snow. Don't like the stuff. Hate snow.
Well, if we all moved to Florida, there'd be a huge amount of 3D printing people in one state.
Pretty much already is. I really don't want to move to Florida. I lived there for a couple of years too, and I wasn't too much drinking.
I'd miss being 30 minutes away from printed solid though. That has so many perks in of itself. It's
I wish I was. So you're right in PA.
People when they I was picking on Don Dagan and Matt the other day. They were talking how they want to do a road trip in printed solid. I'm like, I'll wave to the place when I go to work.
So you're right in PA. Huh? You're not that far from me. You're only a couple hours from me.
Where are you at?
Connecticut.
Yeah, only like 8.
Well, yeah, no. Printed solid is, well, it depends on how far down Connecticut I start at, but the problem is Connecticut's all the time, even though it's the shortest distance. When I drove down to Earth, Connecticut is only like 60 miles I have to travel through, and yet it took me 3 hours. Because it's all just traffic and I did it at like 10. I left at like 10 o'clock at night. I hit New York border at, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know Midnight Giant said the longest part of the drive for him is getting past New York City.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to make it from, New England to Earth without crossing through basically right through the middle of New York.
Yeah, you can either take the Tappan Zee Bridge, which used to be the shortcut, even though it's 20 miles out of the way, it was actually faster, like a lot faster. But you can't even do that right now because that's under construction.
Oh.
1 lane each way. So you can't even go up and around the Tappan Zee Bridge. You have to go across the GW, and honestly, that was not the worst thing either way. I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I took the GW to New York Maker Fair. I don't ever want to go on that bridge again.
Yeah. No, see, I don't. I mean, it's a cluster.
They had construction going on where they were funneling it down to 1 lane.
Yeah. And then that's what kills me is they work on both bridges at the same time. The only 2 bridges crossing that river within, like 100 miles of the city, the Tappan Zee and the GW, they work on them both at the same time. Why don't you guys have enough sense to even if they took the GW and patched it and said, okay, this is good for 5 years. We're going to work on the Tappan Zee for the next 5 years, fix it, and then we'll tear down the GW and rebuild it. That's what they need to do. The GW needs to be completely remodeled. That thing is an antique piece of junk.
Yeah, they're even saying, I think Uncle Ron was saying that there used to be for those of us down here below New York, there's a train line that gets you almost right to Maker Faire. Apparently, that line was shut down during Maker Faire. So you couldn't even take the express route into Maker Faire.
Oh, yeah, because I was actually going to take the train. I wasn't that far away from the New York Maker Faire when it was going on. I was working right down the street. Well, I shouldn't say right down the street, but right at the Connecticut-New York border. And there's a train that would have brought me into the city, but then it right back out to the Maker Faire, and it drops you off less than a mile from the Science Center.
I ended up.
You're going to walk, but
I ended up going up around the top and meeting up with Mike, and I forget what hotel he was at, and then we had like a 20-minute walk into the Maker Faire from where he was staying.
Yeah, and then that's something I can't do with my knees, but I was too tired, and honestly, the more I look at the Maker Faire, the New York Maker Faire, I mean, I want to go and check it out, but it's not. It's more.
I went this year because listening to the community, it sounded like everybody was about ready to just give up on New York Maker Faire. So I made sure I went this year just in case, you know, everybody gives up on it. Because, I mean, 3D printing was like 5/10.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a true maker fair. It's not a 3D printing fair.
No.
It's not a Murph or an Earth. It's a maker fair, which is fine. I mean that crap interests me too. But even watching the videos, some of the stuff is just too. I mean, some of it's cool and everything, but some of it is just like stupid. Why? Why did you build that thing? I mean, because you can. Oh, okay, I sort of get that, but I don't know.
Well, that was the whole
Some of
reason
this.
that FK1 was as big as it was, because he said he wanted to build something better than the G-Max, and they told him do it. So he made it like
No, I know, but
50 millimeters bigger in every direction or something like that, just to prove he could.
yeah, no, but that's cool, and I can see making it, and it's a useful tool. Some of that craps I've seen from these maker fairs, I mean, they're just stupid. You know, these stainless steel like flowery whirligigs. Like, why? They're butt ugly. I mean, they're not even. You know, I wouldn't want one in my yard. They're freaking ugly.
Oh, there was a hand hammered horse that some ironworks place had made, like full size scale
Yeah.
horse from top to bottom. Like, yeah, okay. Someone took the time on a forge to make a horse.
Yeah. And okay, it's a statue of sorts, and even that I can sort of see. It's not something that would interest me, but I can see where somebody might be. You know.
Yeah, I'm looking at Ron's comment. Yeah, and the huge robot hand, and all it did was pick up cars and drop them.
See, now that's cool.
With that.
I get into that, but again, why?
I get the concept of it. I just kind of wish they'd have had two, because then I would have begged and pleaded to get into things just so I could do the skit from what was the one president movie that had where he says, "I once caught a fish this big and just robot arms."
Yeah, I'd like to see two of them juggle a car. Yeah, not practical. But a lot of times practical things come out of it. Like if you get a machine that picks up a car, okay, in a junkyard.
Yes, Uncle Ron.
If you can make it more convenient and cheaper to construct than a full-on crane to pick a car up and put it in a crusher, that's a viable thing, you know? That could actually be made into a production product that's useful to the world. Just building whirligigs that look like buttholes going around and around and around just doesn't fly to me.
And the cool thing with that arm was that it actually ran off a person's hand. You put your hand in and it had all the grips, and you could.
Yeah, I think I saw a video on that.
I imagine at some point, I'm sure they had it work so you couldn't flip people off with the giant robot hand. I'm sure they.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah, it was done by a glove, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just using one of those, not Xbox, but the virtual reality gloves. Which, I mean, that's cool. Again, if you could make two gloves and you can make two robotic hands to pick stuff, you know, large equipment up in a construction site and move it around, it's a lot more convenient than learning how to operate a crane.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where if you could make two big hands and make it viable, cost effective, I mean, that's a viable thing. Some of these, I mean, like you say, the horse, I mean, come on. Stupid crap.
There was some cool stuff there that I liked. There was some people there that were showing off a home vacuum forming table. I think they were wanting like $1,200 for it, and it had a build area probably 400 by 400, something like that.
Yeah, well, there's one of those Form Z or whatever it is.
There was that. There was a tabletop CNC machine. I mean, there was some cool stuff there, but most of it was still way out of my price range.
Yeah. Well, I bought the Folgertech one after Earth. I saw it at Earth, and I should have made them run it, and they're like, "Oh, we can't run it." Now I know why they can't run it, because it don't freaking run. That was a waste of $800.
That's like every once in a while somebody brings up the M3D, what they call it, the quad nozzle or whatever. They're supposed to do the
Yeah, I
technology.
don't care. Anything coming from that freaking company, I want shut down. I
Every
hate
time
that
someone
company.
brings it up, all I say is I challenge anybody to say they've actually seen it print a piece in
Actually,
full color in person.
he had it printing at Earth.
He had it printing some stupid little spiral vase, which
Yeah,
any mixing nozzle can do that.
right.
I want to see them print that castle that he had sitting on the printer the whole time.
Well, the thing it's got the issue is it's got the same exact extruders and motors and everything that the micros and all the rest of them have, and they're little CD motors, and they got no nut.
Yeah,
They work for a little while and they burn out.
because they show that one print there, but I've never seen them. I don't even think I've seen a video of them actually. When they show them printing that castle, it's such a bad time lapse. You're like, you can't be sure the printer's actually doing it. They could be sitting there pausing it and going in with paint and painting it, and you just wouldn't be able to tell.
And I'm not hearing about it anymore either, so something went wrong. That's one thing they are very good at is advertising something that half-ass works. So if it's not even, if they're not advertising it all, it's not even half-ass working.
Yeah,
because it's just gone away. I haven't heard anything about it since when? Last spring was the last thing I heard about it.
I've seen a few people. I've gone back out every once in a while. They'll post on Twitter, and you'll go back out there, and there's some new. It seemed like every time I would call them out on any kind of live stream, like a week later, I'd see a thing on Twitter, and it'd be some new time lapse of something else printing. But it's like, okay, until I see it print that castle at a show live, I'm not going to believe it works.
Yeah, my thing is I believe it may work. What I also believe is if it works, it won't work for very long. Because if you look at that head, it had 4 independent direct drive extruders. And they were them tiny little itty bitty 3/4 inch tall freaking CD drive motors that they use. And they're just too wimpy. They don't work.
Yeah, they're trying to squeeze all that into a tiny little package.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see the head of the M3D Micro?
No.
The head of the M3D Micro is only... Well, I don't know if you know how big this little run cam is, but it's about how big that head is. Okay. And in that head was the part cooling fan, the extruder cooling fan, the extruder motor, and the extruder, all in a box about this size. Wow. A little bit bigger, a little bit wider than this, but that's almost exactly the size of it. Well, the one thing I will give them is it was an all metal hot end, and when they say direct drive, it was direct drive. The gear was at the nozzle. And I mean at the nozzle on them things. There is no heat break, throat, feed up, cooling fins. The freaking extruder gear is at the nozzle.
Wow.
I mean, it's right there. So it fed. The one thing it did do well is it fed like TPUs and all that stuff. You could print TPU on that thing all day long in the sense that it will feed it through and print it. The problem is the whole gantry system they had was so freaking sloppy. It just wobbled around, and you never got anything clean out of it. You ever see? You've never seen one of those things?
No.
Oh, it's sort of like a CoreXY or an H-bot, as in, the bed stays still, and then the X and Y go up. But it's got 4 little itty bitty threaded screws with CD motors driving them to raise it. Okay. They're on a twisty thing, which I don't even know how to describe. It's like a square drive with a belt on it that as it slides up, but as it turns, it brings the front, it brings the 2 Y belts back and forth, which is stupid because it's sliding on the drive, so that's sloppy as crap. And then the X is a big, long carbon fiber tube with teeth in it. And the gear, which is also in that head, that's the other thing that's in the head, is the X movement stepper motor is also in there. So there's 2 stepper motors in that little head. There's the extruder motor and the X motor. But it's just got basically an extruder motor gear on it that meshes to the teeth of the carbon fiber rod with teeth molded into it. So when it went along and it went to reverse, there was like a 1/4 inch of slop. Like it would go and it would stop and it would sit there for a second and then start coming back. It was like you got football shaped. You tried to print a circle, it was like football shaped. You could not print a circle on it. You just couldn't do it.
So, you were talking about your tensioner that I don't know how well you'd be able to see this. That Thingiverse file I sent you has,
yeah, I haven't looked at that
similar to this. They use these little cogs to hold the belt, and it's designed to where it slides in, and you get a bolt that comes in through the end, so you can tighten and adjust your tension.
Now that's 3D printed?
Yeah.
That would never hold this. I've tried a few different ones like that, and I need beefier 3D printing. There's a lot of tension on my belts for this thing. Don't forget that's 500 millimeter frame, so you've got 500 times 3 times 6 actually, because it's 3 and then back again. So there is what 3,000 millimeters of belt on each belt.
Yeah, let's see. The belt for mine.
I got to tension the crap out of it. Yeah, you're probably pretty darn close to that.
There's at least 2 meters right there. That's per belt.
But I got these guitar string tensioned. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it.
I had mine pulled pretty tight, but I haven't tried. This is the next revision. I want to try this and see how well it works.
Yeah. See, I see that just because I'm cracking stuff that's 5-6 millimeters thick. Something that small. I mean, what's that? A millimeter thick in some areas?
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow that apart the minute I tension it up.
Yeah, I'll go. So I'll give it a shot, see how it does. Because right now I've got the stupid little printed brackets that you just run 2 screws through and it kind of sandwiches the belt.
Yeah, that's what I got on this thing over here.
And it works, but I don't like the look of it or anything, and I don't like trying to. I don't have any fine tuning at that point. I'm pulling until I get a tooth, and then I'm cranking it down, and I'm pulling until I hit a tooth, and I'm cranking it down.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing now.
I want to be because I don't really have any way to level the belt, so I have to make sure I level the gantry through the build plate.
Why can't you level the belt? I'm assuming it's on 2 drums on either end.
It's on drums on either end, and then I get a flat plate going across. I mean, I could try and shim the plate a little bit, but
what's holding the plate?
It's going to be bolted to the C channel.
Oh, I see. So you're going to just let it slide over the plate. Okay.
Right. I'm going to have 2 plates. I'll have a 200 millimeter deep plate here. That'll be the heated plate. So 200 by 400 across the front will be heated. And I'll have the nylon high temp washers isolating it so the heat doesn't carry down through my frame. And then another 15 inches of plate behind here, probably just a paper thickness away from the first plate as a cool down area coming off the back.
Okay. So why couldn't you do like a belt sander leveling system? Belt sander, you tension the belt and it twists and.
But that only drills your left and right. It's not going to correct how high it sits.
Yeah, but you can make it, instead of doing it left and right, front to back, you could make it do height. You just turn the adjuster 90 degrees. So the belt drum would do height, but that would only
But then the belt wouldn't be sitting on the plate. You need that belt to ride across that plate for the heat transfer.
Well, the other way to do that is to put the plate on spring load so the belt holds the plate in place, if that makes sense. If you put it on a resistance, if you put that plate on a resistance spring, and then you bring the 2, just like a belt sander, the 2 drums are slightly lower, so the belt comes up at a slight angle and then hits the plate and goes flat. If you twist or turn one of those 2 drums, the plate will twist and turn with the tension of the belt.
But
that's how a belt sander plate works.
The problem with that is you have 2 issues you get with that. One, you can affect the tracking of the belt by doing that.
Yep, that's true.
And the other option is it'll give you huge backlash. I don't have any tensioner on the belt system for that exact reason, because you put any kind of spring-loaded tensioner or anything, you change directions, that spring's going to move before the belt moves.
Yeah, but why you shouldn't be changing the direction on the belt? The belt should be like your Z height. It should just be moving forward constantly.
Well, I like the idea of having the ability to do Z-hop, though I haven't tried it yet. And not to mention, I haven't seen any printer yet that when you do a pause or resume, for whatever reason, they always move the Z-axis and then they bring it back to meet again when they resume.
Yeah, that's so the nozzle doesn't just sit there and burn into your print.
Yeah, but you need that. If I were to put any kind of tension in there, that belt would take up the spring tension before it would move.
Yeah, it would bobble every time it went reverse. That's for sure.
You'd end up with nasty. You'd either end up with this huge space in your Z seam, or you'd end up with like a huge overlap over extruded layer.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh yeah, I'm
think of it.
Because right now the nice thing is, let's see, I haven't got the wiring purchased and everything yet, but my current build of material is at $1,646. And that's for 400 by 400 by infinity with all top of the line parts.
I'm about 800 on that.
Yeah, because that's the duet.
$200.
Yeah, that's the duet. That's the panel do 7-inch screen. That's the BMG extruder, mosquito hot end, E3D stepper motors.
Well, you're at $1,000 right there already before you start building the frame.
Yep. The frame's actually not that expensive. The extrusion for the frame was only $150.
That's pretty cheap, actually. I've got more than that into this.
I mean,
that really pisses me off. I don't know if you noticed, but my X is black. Everything else is silver. I kept putting it in the cart. When I first ordered the frame, I put it in the cart. It's black. And I said, nah, it was like $20 extra for the black. And I was like, nah. And then I went to get the X piece, because I never ordered the X originally because I wasn't sure how long I wanted it at the time. Because I knew I was going to overhang, but I didn't know how long I was going to overhang it. So I didn't order it. I left it in the cart. And I never switched it back to silver. And then I got it in black, and I'm like, oh, well, it was like $2 more. Now I'm looking at it. I wish I'd spent the $20 because the black with this purple looks really nice together.
Oh, yeah.
I would have called it the stealth.
The only problem with the black watching Glenn was you got to take that sucker off until you're done building it, because anytime you even bump it, you take the black off of it.
Yeah, well, permanent marker puts it right back too, though. I mean, you just hit it with a Sharpie and you don't really notice it anymore. I've been thinking about, because 90% of this is not V-groove. It's regular T-groove. I only bought V-groove where I knew I was running a, like right here, this is V-groove, but this isn't, because there's nothing running on it. So why spend the money on the V-groove?
Yeah, I
saved a lot of money doing that.
I went with that big C channel just for having a solid base platform for it. And the
borderline CNC torque in that thing too, where you got that big belt. You're putting the same kind of pressure as a CNC machine almost does.
And then I also, when I saw the C channel, the rollers slide into these pulleys.
Oh, no way.
And then I've got end caps that go on, and I get a bolt that goes in. That's my tracking adjustment. I can tighten the bolt on the side, and I can twist and turn that belt if I need to.
Yeah, so you can keep the belt
from the end cap. But add more tension to it as it stretches, whatever. But
that's pretty cool. That's very cool, actually. I kind of like those belt ones. It's just a cool concept.
Yeah, the whole point with this one was I was talking to Mike and Midnight, and he was just like, everybody keeps going, hey, do you want us to build you a bigger, better printer? Because he keeps doing, huge swords.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, dude, well, they can make you an 800 by 800 or a 1200 by 1200, but when you're making 10-foot long swords, you're still going to have to do it in, way too many pieces. I said, you need a belt printer. He's like, yeah, but I don't have 10 grand for a black belt. I looked at it and said, that printer can't be $10,000 to build. And somehow I got sucked into, okay, well, let's do it.
How do you slice that? That's the only part I never got is.
You have to use Black Belt Cura. That's I'm still stuck using their software. And it's really weird too, because I downloaded the software to see how it was, try and look and see how it was slicing and how they were configuring the printer.
Yeah.
And it says that when you look at the slicer, it tells you that, here's your X. They say this is your Y, and the 45 is the Z.
Yeah, so you're actually at a 45.
Well, that's what they say in the slicer, because it's done strictly for user aesthetics. When you set up an infinite build platform and you're looking at a 3D printer in Cura, you want to picture the belt going horizontal across the screen or off into infinity in the screen, not straight down through the bottom of the floor into infinity. If you set Z to be the infinite axis, it would go straight through the bottom of the printer into infinity, which it's really not doing. So the printer's actually set up where this is X, the 45 is Y, and the belt is Z, but Black Belt Cura swaps the Z and the Y axis. So Cura thinks the belt is Y, but the printer thinks that the belt is Z, and it flops all the motion in Black Belt Cura. Confused the heck out of me the first time I wired up the Duet, because I wired it up as a CoreXZ printer instead of a CoreXY printer, and the belt's moving all over the place. I'm like, why is it moving the belt like it's an axis? It's supposed to be going one way. Took me forever to figure out that's what they did. Once I flopped the Y and Z axis steppers and reloaded it up as a CoreXY, it worked fine. I had to go looking through the G code to realize that's what they were doing.
That's still pretty amazing when you think about it.
Oh, the amount of work they've put into just making Cura work for it. I hate to imagine what they've done. There's no way I could have made the printer work if I had to write the software too.
You get a hold of that dude at Ray's. Ray's 3D now has Idea Maker is actually S3D, right?
Okay.
The guy who originally wrote from what I understand, I don't know how true it is, but the guy who originally wrote the original sets of code and the whole custom, supports and everything for S3D was smart enough to keep them under his own name, so he owned it, not S3D, although they have a lifetime license on them. But he left. I guess he had an issue with the rest of the guys and wanted to do more. And Ray's 3D hired him. That's why. Have you ever used Idea Maker?
No, I haven't.
You should really try it because the guy is a freaking wizard. And they just came out with another update a month ago, and that's all I'm using now. It's Smoke and everything else.
Oh, hi, Mr. Buttram. I don't know when he types evening, gents. We haven't been paying attention.
I haven't been paying attention. I don't know if he just got here, or if he just left, or what. He must have just left because we're down to 3 viewers. But I mean, I printed all of this stuff. I just put on I was having problems getting any of these things to print proper on that machine. I've tried S3D, Cura, Slicer. It's just too long of a Bowden tube. It's got 1100 millimeter Bowden tube. It's huge, and I couldn't tune it in. And I got freaking Idea Maker tuned in about 10 minutes. Yeah. No, that's this right here.
I don't know how.
They're 1,100 millimeters long.
I haven't measured it. I'm not even sure how long it is. Let's see.
So when you go to do a retraction,
it is 1,300.
So it's same length basically.
Which is one of the reasons why I went with the mosquito hot end. I'm hoping the
you're still here.
retraction needed for the mosquito will help eliminate that issue.
Yeah, you know what, dude? All of those, I was putting like 8, 9, 10 millimeter retractions in, and it was clogging because, you know, it's literally pulling the hot filament back into the cold end with that kind of retractions. And I was just having problems constantly. I am now getting almost no stringing and bobbing depending on the filament. And I'm using a 2 millimeter retraction.
Is that with a mosquito?
No, that's with a E3D clone. It's not even a real E3D.
What did you change?
Idea maker.
Huh.
I have no idea why.
Interesting.
It works beautifully with a 2 millimeter retraction.
Yeah, I'm running 5 millimeter, I think, right now on mine.
Yeah, see, that's literally, if you're doing a 5 millimeter, your nozzle isn't 5 millimeters long.
No.
So you're pulling the hot filament out of the nozzle and into the heat break, which means it's cooling. You know, the stuff that was just entering the hot zone is actually cooling up past the heat break zone.
Now,
that's when you get a jam.
The nozzles I'm going to use on the printer, though, they're 12 millimeters.
Oh, are they? So you're still not bad then. You're still pushing from
the
cold zone.
I had to make a custom adapter because the nozzles I'm using are designed for the MK8. They're that higher, like I don't know what they're like, a 30-degree pitch. They're really pointed. I needed that to get the clearance with the nozzle sitting at 45.
Oh, right. Yep. That's what I use on that.
Unfortunately, the threading on the back of an MK8 nozzle is 2.5 millimeters shorter than the threading on the back of an E3D nozzle.
Yes.
And wouldn't you know it, the mosquito's designed to work with an E3D nozzle.
Yes, it is.
So,
but there's a workaround, you know.
It's a good thing I have a lathe next door in the next room.
You know what the workaround is?
What's that?
Get the Micro Swiss.
It's still not as deep.
Micro Smiths makes their tool steel one that looks like an MK8, but is actually for the V6.
I may order one of them. It doesn't look like it has as steep of a point as these
ones.
Not
quite as steep as the cheapo, because the cheapo ones are too steep for me. I find they cool, and the filament starts cooling the nozzle too much. But the MK8 has a steeper than the MK10. The MK10 is very shallow. So is the MK9s.
Yeah.
And then the E3D is, it's a little itty bitty thing, and it's a big bolt. It's not even a nozzle, as far as I'm concerned. It's a bolt with a little hole in the middle.
What I ended up doing was I sacrificed I had a 0.4 millimeter nozzle laying around.
Did you just spin it up on the lathe?
I threaded it into a M6 turnbuckle. Yeah. Ran a bolt into the other end, so I had 2.5 millimeters of clearance, and I threaded it in there and tightened it up tight, put it in my lathe, and I took the end of that sucker off.
Oh, you took it off.
Stuck it on the end of my needle file here, and I threaded it up into the hot end, so now it's butted up against the heat break, and the other nozzle's up against it. We'll see how that works for now.
See, no, I would have spun it on a lathe and then just flattened two first surfaces so you get a wrench on it.
I looked at trying to take this one down further, but once I did that, there was nothing to grab it with a wrench to get that extra 2.5 millimeters. I thought about doing it, adding more thread to the nozzle, and I just couldn't. There wasn't enough there to do it.
The other thing is to turn it off center. So the nozzle hole, even though it's coming out at the point, it's off center of the point, so it's actually coming out and down. It's like on the bottom edge of the angle. So the nozzle's actually like this, which would counter some of your need for the angle.
Yeah,
so you get what I'm saying, right? Where it wouldn't be a perfect round, it would be kind of oval shape in reality.
I figure I'm going to be experimenting a lot with the nozzles and at what because I don't have to keep the whole nozzle at a 45 degree as the framework. I can actually turn. I mean, I've already got it turned to like, what do I got at right now? 37, I think right now I've got it turned at. As long as I don't tip it so far that the heat block catches the print. I got to keep it to where it's enough that I still have enough area where the heat block's not affecting the print. Right now I've got like 2.5, 3 millimeters of gap between the heat block and the print, so it's still running okay. I'm thinking with the Mosquito, because it's turned differently and it's got those nice 45s, I might be able to crank it to a full 35 degrees on that 45 and make up and get to where I'm pointing more down.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can almost point it down, but like you say, the heat block's going to hit.
Yeah. It's playing that fine line of how far can I take it before the heat block or the leading edge of the nozzle starts to catch the print. I keep turning it just a little bit more to see what I can get away with. And these cheap nozzles I found are milled at such a tight point at the tip. I'm sure they will wear out quicker, but I'm not going to have issues with like that. Like most of them seem like they got like a 1 millimeter lip all the way around the actual hole.
Yeah.
That, okay, now I got to be careful I don't let that 1 millimeter lip start catching the print if I tip it too far. This one here, it's like if it's got I doubt it's 0.05 millimeter around that hole. But if I run any abrasives, this thing will open up quick, I'm sure. Biggest issue I've got is I don't see, other than like you said, that micro Swiss, I don't see much in the way of hardened nozzles I can get that are going to have the point that I need.
I think the micro Swiss might work. Matter of fact, I think I have one right here. Where is it? I don't know. I might actually have it on the printer right now.
I figure I'll wait.
Yeah, no, I got one here.
I'm hoping when I release all the files and the videos and everything at Murph, I'm hoping this printer just blows up to the point where companies start contacting me. It's like, I want to go to, I'm hoping I can
see that
to make a custom nozzle.
That has the threading of the E3D. So it's got the longer thread throat, but then it's got the point of an MK8.
Yeah, that might work.
And that's the coated one.
I might have to order one of those before I start running filament through this rigged one I did. Because then I'm sure that little threaded piece I made will be hard as hell to get out of that Mosquito.
I'm assuming you're just using these little shitty blast ones. I should watch my language. Crappy brass ones like this, right?
Oh, yeah. I got the bag here I got, I think it was $6 for a pack of 10. Range from 0.2 to 1.0.
Well, the other thing you could do is do like I did here, because I had that same problem before. And I originally got it and started doing it with this one because that was a weird setup that I got when I got the Max Micron. And you can see I made the heat breaks.
Well, that's the problem with the Mosquito. You can't do that.
Oh, right. You're using a Mosquito.
You can't adjust the heat break height on the back of the Mosquito.
No, you can't play with that at all. Forgot you're using a Mosquito.
Yeah. And, I mean,
well,
the other person
honestly, though, you probably can, because I bet if you contact them guys where they do it, I mean, they're custom build and everything, they'd probably make you one.
Yeah. I'm sure if I asked,
they'd be all up and into that. That's right up their alley.
I think I got to wait and see how well this blows up at Murph before anybody's going to start talking about offering to make me custom parts for it.
Matter of fact, if you start talking to those guys, they would probably have their machinist make you a nozzle.
Well, I've had not the Mosquito guy, the slice guys, but I have had another company say they have a machinist that they would be. I was talking to about the issue, and He said he'd be more than happy if I gave him the specs to have his machinist make me up a nozzle.
Yeah. And say make about three of them.
I'm really trying to keep the build that I'm trying not to get any parts that somebody can't go buy. Like openings in here. Now, I did the original cut. I drilled it with a drill, and I used my jigsaw to cut the hole, and I used a file to make everything fit. And I proved it could be done. Now, when I got it all done and it was working, did I go slap it on my mill and true up the edge nice and pretty? Oh, hell yeah.
You know what works much better than a jigsaw? Have you seen those vibrating flush cut saws?
I have.
I got one of those, and I have yet, since I got that thing, to ever use a jigsaw again. They are so much more easy to control. The blade, you know, the biggest problem with a jigsaw is you start arcing the blade, and it does this.
Yeah.
It does that arc in the cut, and it just, those things don't. They just cut smooth and easy. They cut through everything. Oh, my God, I love those things.
Again for Mike. Though I think when I do Mike's, I'm just going to put it on the mill right off the bat and be done with it.
Well, if you got a freaking mill, just mill it. Why are you wasting your time?
Because I still got to prove it can be done by Joe User. It doesn't have all the cool tools I've got.
Yeah. We were making custom posts for the vinyl siding or vinyl fencing. And we had to cut, custom holes because we made a custom width and you can't buy it. And this guy needed it to go around his pool and blah, blah, blah to meet code. So we make them. It's not hard. You can buy a post blank and you knock out the thing. Well, normally you drill 4 holes with a drill and then take a jigsaw and knock it out. And it's kind of rough, but it's vinyl fence. Nobody's going to notice it. I'll tell you what. Those guys were cutting them. We had to do like 8 of them. I had 2 guys drilling and cutting with a jigsaw do 3 poles in the time I by myself cut 5 poles with my flush cut saw. And they were literally drilling, cutting, and then drilling and then cutting, and I'm just like near done. Fucking chunk pops up, and you can be really accurate. I mean, you got to play with it to get used to how it works and everything, and how to guide it. But once you learn how to guide that, you can plunge it right into a piece of wood or a piece of vinyl and just push it. And if you put the blade at an angle, the blade will make sure it cuts straight. You won't be able to make a corner. It will cut a perfectly straight line because the shell of the blade holds it straight. The back end of the blade stays in the cut you just made, and you can't make a crooked line. They are awesome. I love them things.
I'll definitely look into that.
And they're not even that expensive anymore. I got mine is the top of the line, and it's really not. I kind of like the DeWalt better, but I got the Milwaukee one. I mean, Makita one. I've gone all Makita now. And that Makita is just awesome. I do like the DeWalt better. And these are cordless. These aren't cordless. Yeah. I like the DeWalt one a little better the way it triggers. It's a smaller diameter handle, and the trigger is just like a regular finger trigger. And you just where mine's got like the thumb push, and you push it with your thumb, and then you move your hand back, and when you're done, you got to move your hand over and shut it off, which is no big deal.
Yeah, I'm a DeWalt guy.
Yeah, I've gone through them all. Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita, Porter Cable. And
all the Makitas I ever had, I used to build skateboard ramps when I was in Hawaii. Every Makita drill I ever bought, I bent the drill shaft on it, putting ramps together. I have yet to bend the drill shaft on this DeWalt.
No. DeWalt's the thing about DeWalt. Here's the key with DeWalt. You realize DeWalt's owned by Black & Decker, right?
Yep.
Okay. Along with Porter Cable. They bought Porter Cable like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, Porter Cable used to be a good professional grade tool. Now it's Lowe's dump line. It's like garbage. It is. I bought all Porter Cable when Lowe's first came into the area because it was reasonably inexpensive and professional grade. And I got to say, it all worked. Had plenty of power. But it's just the batteries wear out fast, and it's cheap, and it's flimsy, and that's actually I started buying the Porter Cable because that's the first thing I bought. Porter Cable was my flush cut saw, my reciprocating saw, and loved it. So I just started buying all Porter Cable tools because I'm one of those people that I can't stand I need to have 3 chargers on the job site, all with the same battery. So whenever I run out of battery, I can walk over to the charger, pull the battery off, slap my old battery on it, and have 3 batteries running. So I have one that's fresh for my drill, my impact, and my saws. Oh my God. The worst thing I've ever had was that freaking porta cable circular saw. The 6.5-inch cordless circular saw. Now, I don't expect a cordless circular saw to be, a framing saw. It's just not. But it should be able to cut a 1x4. That thing couldn't. You could put a brand new battery on it. It was brand new. And you go, yeah. You got to take the battery out and put a new battery in. It would kill the battery in like 2.5 inches of a 1x. It was ridiculous. It was useless. The only thing it was good for was cutting vinyl siding. It was great at cutting vinyl siding. The Makita I just got, I ran all day on my little, and not even on that battery, on a 2-amp battery. And I was cutting freaking oak and crap with it. And it ran all freaking day. I could not believe it. I did not have to change that battery until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I mean, it's not running all day long. It's, you work and you cut a board and you do a little work and you cut a board. But oh my God. And we got the Milwaukee, which the Milwaukee is way more powerful. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Milwaukee has more power than the Makita. But the Milwaukee is just so cumbersome and wrong. And the other thing I don't like about it is Milwaukee's got the actual guard for the blade comes way down into the front of the blade because they have a really, really, really good dust collection system. Well, it does it by putting the guard so far down the front of the blade that as you're trying to cut, you're looking through and you can't see the tip of the blade. All you can see is the tip of the guard. And you don't know where the frick you're cutting. And that's the only thing I don't like about the Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee drove me nuts. I couldn't use it. The Makita, it just cuts so smooth. It's so easy. It's got the auto wind up now with the brushless motor. So if it starts bogging, you don't even notice it. It just winds up a little more. You can hear it wind up and it just keeps cutting. Huh. That Makita is sweet. This thing's sweet. I love this thing. This is awesome. It's just freaking awesome. And it's not really powerful. It's not like super strong. It's just convenient. It's easy. It uses a regular battery. I charged this battery when I bought this thing, and I've not charged this battery since. And I bought it like 2 months ago. And it's still running off the same battery charge. I have not charged the battery. Now, granted, this is one of the bigger batteries. It's not the little 2-amp it normally comes with. But still, I use it daily. I vacuum my room with that now. Touch up. It's not a full-fledged vacuum. It's a good touch-up vacuum. I love it. I take it to job sites. It cleans up sawdust. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm becoming more and more. I kind of faded away from Makita back in like early 2000s because they started getting chintzy and cheap. When remember they had the white-bodied ones? They were white. Those things were garbage.
I started getting when they came in the blue, but
yeah, they were always that blue.
90s.
They were always just blue. I mean, that was always their color. But they started coming out with the white and the black ones. The white ones were absolute homeowner garbage. And they were expensive, I kind of faded away from Makita then. And recently, Home Depot had a pack of them where you got the Sawzall, the drill, and the impact, and what they call their micro, which is their higher power, but not higher power than the size of a 12-volt unit. They're 12-volt drills, the same size. Took an 18-volt, and they outright state it's not as powerful as the full-on 18-volt units, but it's half the size. You can get it into places, and it's lighter. And it was on sale. It's normally like $400 or $500 for the kit with the Sawzall, the drill, the impact, 2 batteries, the flashlight, the whole 9 yards. Well, 3 months ago, I guess it was, Home Depot had a bunch of them, and they were just flashing them out, getting them out the door. $200. So I said, you know what? The 12 volts cost you that. If I use it like I use my 12 volts, it's still worth it. I mean, I use 12 volts all the time when I'm doing like cabinets and stuff because you don't want an 18. You don't want an 18-volt power to go put a screw through a cabinet and end up driving the screw right through the back of the cabinet. You want the lighter weight. I'll tell you what, those 18s, those Makitas, they are freaking sweet.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like that DeWalt turned around and did was they started going to the 20-volt system.
Yeah.
And
I don't care about
all
that.
my tools are 18, and I've got the stupid little adapters. But I swear I'm going to have to buy one of these for every tool because in another couple of years, I won't be able to pop this thing out.
Oh, so you're still using the old NiCad freaking drill. That's a NiCad drill that you're using the lithium-ion batteries on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My problem with DeWalt was always more powerful with a shorter lifespan. They were ballsy as crap, brand new, but they just never lasted the long haul.
Well, and then my big mistake was I had like 8 of the 18-volt, the good heavy-duty batteries.
Yeah. They just wear out. The old NiCad batteries wear out.
And the first freeze killed them all.
Yeah. You can't run them outside. NiCad batteries were just a bad idea. I mean, at the time, that's what there was, and you used them, but the nickel cadmium or whatever, I mean, whatever the new ones are, they're much better.
Lithium ion,
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
The old NiCads were terrible, and they were even worse. That's what got me off DeWalt. I used to have all DeWalt, and I couldn't stand it. Their batteries were useless out in the weather. You went out in like 40-degree weather, the battery had no charge. You could charge it up, take it out, plug it in. If it was 40 degrees out, it wouldn't run for 5 minutes.
Yeah, once it gets cold, it's done.
Yep. You bring it inside, warm it up, it's got to charge back. You don't even need to charge it. You just need to warm it up again. Remember, that's what we used to do with the old DeWalts. We used to keep them in the vans and the trucks, right by the heaters on the floor, and just keep the van running. Keep the batteries warm. Serious. It's the only way you can keep using them.
Yeah, I've been teasing Country the whole time. I'm thinking of actually taking the I've got the STL file for the C-beam extrusion. I was actually thinking of mocking it up with all the proper cutouts, and before Murph, printing all the extrusion pieces for him in like either orange or blue, and tell him here's all the long pieces you need a belt printer to print with. You can print all the small stuff and make your own belt print.
Yeah, give it to Walter.
You're like, okay, you got to do your 3D printed belt printer now.
I can't believe how well his 3D printer works. That CoreXY, I mean that.
Oh yeah, his Hypercube.
Yeah, I can't believe that works so well. I mean, I'm having problems. I shouldn't say having problems because I know how to counter them. But this thing's all 2020. I don't have any like 2040. Actually, I do now. I put two here and 2 there to stiffen it up. But it was flexing. Now he's using 2020 plastic.
No, I thought the Hypercube was 2040 plastic.
No, I'm pretty sure he's got 2020. It might be 2040.
I think it's 2040.
Even still.
I think he's got a few pieces that are 2020, but I think all the main frame is 2040.
It still is plastic.
Yeah.
And I'm curious
to see how much stronger this would be since it's printing at the 45. Instead of having the straight seam, it's going to be the angle.
Yeah. More layer adhesion that way.
Yeah.
Grooving makes it stronger too. I'm going to do my test tomorrow, I think. You ever seen this whole concept? These are my test pieces.
Okay.
By adding the groove here, you actually have more surface area of structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like basically corrugated cardboard.
Yeah.
I corrugated the face. So in theory, when I strap these down and I put weight on them, this one should take a lot more to break than this one.
Be interesting to see.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I did it, and I printed them both ways. These two are printed laying down, and these two are printed standing up. So it's going to test both with and against grain to see if it does any difference. Now, I know it does. All these printer parts do it. I did it on all my motor. And I originally started doing it because when I was designing the motor brackets for the stepper motors and stuff, I actually started doing it because I was worried about heat. So I put it in more as a vent. And then I noticed my motor brackets, like even when I printed them like with one shell and like 10% infill for, demo test pieces, prototyping, that they were wicked strong for what they were. So I just started automatically designing it into anything with structure.
Okay, here's the final brackets for mine. That's high 5 HTPLA, 85% infill.
You realize 85% infill is just a waste of plastic.
I wanted to make sure they were solid.
Anything over 45% actually is lowering its strength. Watch CNC Kitchen. He did a thing on it too.
Did he?
And pretty much anything over like 45% infill actually doesn't help. It's just a waste of plastic.
I can admit, the first time I dropped one of those pieces, compared to the original ones, I was doing like 25% infill for mock-up.
Yeah.
And it sounds like plastic when it hits the floor. That there, you'd swear it was like, when that hits the floor, it sounds like
chunk of aluminum.
Molded, just clunk.
Yeah, no, wait. Did you anneal them?
No, I didn't go that far with it. I didn't want to deal with I didn't want to have to recalibrate all my files for the shrinkage.
There's not as much shrinkage as you think most of the time.
Well, some of those pieces have, grooves set up for the 2040 to slide right into and then bolt in place. And there's some of them that are tolerances are tighter on some pieces, more pieces than others.
You know how I counted that? Because some of these I annealed. Those two I just put on tonight, I didn't anneal because I didn't bother. But a lot of them, when I went to anneal them and I knew it had to strap in like that, I strapped it into a piece of scrap before I annealed it. So I annealed it with the piece. And that way it can't get out of shape. It's held. You're
not worried about it bonding to the piece?
No. Came right apart. These were annealed. I annealed the two motor mounts. I was worried about. I did it more because I wanted the heat resistance with the motors. These are just PLA. These are Maker Geeks Raptor PLA annealed.
Interesting.
The whole printer is. And they're stiff as a board. And I annealed them, and I actually had a dead motor that I strapped into place, and I had a scrap piece of 2020 that I bolted in and T-nutted and everything, and then put it in the oven at 100 degrees for half an hour.
And I may have to print a piece and experiment a little bit before. It's like, the amount of the pieces that are there, I'm already upwards of 3 rolls of pasta. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to reuse pasta either unless you just want the color.
I wanted to. It's like I'm a firm believer. The whole spec cell. If the printer cool too, I don't like to talk ill of the dead and the printer belt. But what he brought to Earth looked like a half-finished project. And then you go back and you look at the video when he said he's back and they showed his old workshop.
Yeah.
He had a version of that printer belt that had nice white covers and it looked sleek, nice, and that's not what he sold. It's like, why wouldn't you sell the one that looked cool?
Because it was too much money to produce. Probably. That's what killed him, is he wanted to sell that cool thing, but no one's going to pay for it. It was too freaking expensive because he didn't want anything Chinese, which I'm all for. He did everything he could to avoid the whole Chinese cheap manufactured crap. Tried to get everything locally manufactured, which costs an arm and a leg, especially when he's not really mass producing. He's, he's a small time.
Making 200 is not mass producing.
No, 22,000 is still not really mass producing. And he's making a couple 300 at a time. So he's still not getting a mass production price from anyone. So he's paying top dollar for them. And that's what killed him, is he tried to do the right thing, and it got to the point where, I'm sorry, if I looked at his printers and I looked at this Max Micron, and I got way more on this Max Micron for a third less.
I was like,
It's
what
like,
was he selling? What was he selling the printer for? Like $700-800, I think, something
yeah,
like
it
that.
was about 7 or 8 for a kit.
Yeah, that wasn't assembled.
i3, it was,
And
you know, an i3 styly looking one.
and what was the build volume? I don't think
It
it
was
was
like
even 200 by
160.
200, was it?
No, it was 160, I think, cubed.
Yeah, and
And I
that's
got,
like, I'm hoping to keep. I'm hoping when all's said and done, I still got to buy the wiring and everything for it, but I'm looking to still be under $2,000 when I'm done for 400 by 400.
yeah.
And all top of the line. And I'm hoping that's a low enough price range and people are going to go, okay, it's more expensive than the printer belt was, but look at what it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit nicer.
This is, this is llamaCore. It's top of the line parts. I was like, can you hear the CRX that's running while we're on right now?
Yeah.
If that thing's running, I can't hear the belt printer going. I have to look over and make sure it didn't quit running for some reason. That's how quiet that duet is. I love it.
Yeah, see, I haven't gotten that thing to. I mean, this is decent. Don't get me wrong; it's much quieter than the i3 was with the old one. That's actually got an INC board on it now, but when I got to Duet, it's still not as quiet as I was hoping. I can't sleep with that thing running in the room. That's for sure.
If I run at 40 millimeters a second, you can't hear it. If I crank it up to like 75, you hear the big movement just because then you hear the bearings sliding on the metal rails.
Right.
The rails make more noise than anything else.
Yeah, my motors make noise. I mean, my biggest thing that they're all Nectura fans, and I can still hear that fan. It's driving me nuts right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to shut it off.
The cooling fan on the power supply that I was running was the noisiest thing on the whole printer. Same complaint that Fun King had.
Yeah.
I've debated if I want to take the mean well apart and figure out what size fans in it and see if there's a Noctua that'll fit.
That's how I cured it. Just freaking cut a hole right through it and put a big ass. And this isn't even a Noctua, and this thing's dead silent. This is what brand was that?
Yeah, because that's
Uplan, and it is dead silent when it runs.
Yeah, this is the Meanwell LRS 350. So I'm waiting. I haven't even ran this one yet because this is the 24 volt.
Yeah, that's what I got on that one. I converted that when I got the INC board to 24. I'm actually running 12 on that.
Yeah, first test prints I did, I had running off an old 12 volt power supply. That was part of the carcass that used to be a 500 cube D-bot back there.
I'll tell you what, that was the only thing that this thing's running. It's a cheapo. I put this cheapo fan on it. This thing is dead quiet. It fires up. I can't even hear it. And because it used to have like yours. It had a little like 40/40 van.
Yeah,
a little tiny thing. It's bigger now. I think it's 60/60.
Yeah,
this is a 140 or 120. It stays cooler with this on it. I cut a big hole in the case and everything. Yeah. And you can see I kind of mocked it on there. But who cares? It works. And it keeps the whole internals cooler.
Yep.
A lot cooler.
It just takes up a lot more space.
Yeah, but when in your case, maybe it matters. And when this thing's just hanging outside the printer, that little bit isn't.
I'm hoping.
Hey,
With
who's out here?
And the belt coming over the top of it, I'm hoping I kind of keep all that trapped in there. Oh, look who joined us.
What is up, Mr. Chris?
Hey, I don't have a whole lot of time to join, but I thought I'd jump in and see what's going on because I don't get to jump into a lot of other people's streams, but I thought I'd see what was happening. How's it going?
It's going
good. How's it going?
Good.
You left earlier when I was challenging you to build your own 3D printer. I was going to say, we'll do it together because we'll take what actually works on mine well, because there's some designs that I did on this that are really not good ideas. And then there's some designs on this that are really bad ideas. And we could rebuild another one, and you have more of the electronic-y end of it than I do, because when it comes to the wires, as you can see here, I am not good at that. But the mechanicals, I'm very good at.
Yeah.
So we need to design and print a printer together and design this massively awesome something.
I've thought about it a million times, you know, and I told everybody, you know, I've done the bar napkin deal, you know, like a billion times. What would I do and this and that.
This is what happens when I draw on a bar napkin.
Exactly. But you know, before, and you know, it wasn't my idea or anything, but I've seen a million different printer ideas. Uh, the tool changer really looks like something that I would want to do. You know, the E3D setup where they have the rails and the sturdy box and you know duet and a breakout board and all that stuff. That's kind of the design that I would want to go towards. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of waiting to see how this whole tool changer thing turns out.
But why? Why not do it yourself? We could do
Well,
it
because
so much better. Not.
well, I really have like 5,000 other projects to do.
Yeah, but this is a more important one.
Yeah.
That's like I said. That's the whole reason when as I'm designing this, I'm leaving it open to add tool changer capability to it.
Yeah,
There
turn
you
this
go.
down. It's like 11 o'clock at night. My computer just told me it was 11 o'clock. Because it's a Mac and it tells me to do stuff. You know, because it's a bossy little pain in the ass. But it still runs. What were you just building? Obviously, you were working on something because you got all your tools out.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm always tearing apart something.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with this printer, and yet I had to fix it.
Well, yeah.
Looks like he was installing a new heat bed of some kind.
Yeah, you know, I have like 5 of these stupid PCBs, and half of them just blow up MOSFETs. I need to just throw some of them away. So I was working on that stupid snappy, and I was trying to make a heated bed for it, and it didn't go so well. I let the smoke out of a lot of things this afternoon.
Dude, I think you should take that duet board and put it on the snappy. I really do.
I don't think even a duet can make a snappy print good though.
But it would be quiet.
I don't think it would. All the plastic motion, I don't think there's a possibility of making that thing quiet.
You know, you got to admit, considering it all in all, and you look at that thing, and it's pretty impressive to look at, but you still look at it and you go, okay, this thing's a big chunk of plastic that's all kind of flimsy and snapped together. And the print you just showed on Twitter earlier today,
yeah,
that's actually, I mean, it's not a good print, don't get me wrong, but considering what you got out of it, I'll tell you what, that was better than anything I've ever gotten off that M3D freaking micro piece of junk that I paid $400 for.
Yeah,
it was. That was better than anything I ever got off that M3D micro.
The funny thing is about, and I've got the other gears here, but the funny thing is about that snappy. So they run. So you print this huge box that has a V rail all the way down it, and then you splice 2 of them together, right? And then you have this V grooved gear on top of it. Well, this is the print. Well, the imperfections that you see are directly related to that V gear. You can see it chopping through that, you know, that plastic groove. So I don't know, maybe you could downsize one of these like 1% or something and get it just a little bit so it wasn't so deep in that groove. Maybe you could smooth it out a little. I don't know. It's kind of a mystery at this point. But there's only so much that tearing apart and putting it back together that it's going to take. You know, so I'm going to end up with all of these reprints and crap if I just keep digging on it, right?
Yeah, but it's half the fun of that thing.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I'm in a weird position, you know, and we're on a stream with, you know, who knows could be watching this, but we're
6 people. I'm not. You're not much.
6. One of them's Uncle Ron. One of them's Mr. Buttram. And
I'll pay them off when I see them next time. But
yeah, I was gonna say it's.
But
you might get your ass busted, but you're not really gonna be held to anything.
Well, it's all about content, really. I mean, the snappy is one of those things. It's like, all right, you know, I do want to see how this goes, so let's go ahead and build one. But I can't focus on it enough to get it good because I have to move on to other things. And uh, you know, I'm only driven by myself, you know, about how the channel wants to go. But still, I'm like 6 builds down. You know, I've got stuff in boxes that I was supposed to already do, and people ask, why didn't you do this, and where is this review, and all this crap. And it's like, well, I don't know. I wanted to do this week, so but I can't spend a ton of time on like dissecting the snappy. So
Yeah, well, that's one of them things you gotta like. For one, you gotta do just like I hear Angus and Joel and all of them and Tom even. They've like slowed their. They've committed to their printer reviews to very limited, you know, certain amounts a year.
yeah,
And it sounds like you need to do that already because if you got 5 or 6 of them in the regs, you guys the next one comes up and you just gotta say no unless it's something you actually want.
right. And I'm kind of on the cusp of that, right? And so I'm like, well, I don't want to refuse anything, but now I'm completely.
You have to, dude, because
Right,
they're just gonna load you to the point where you can't keep up with them.
Right, and now I'm at the point of like, you know, breaking business relationships. You know, I was like, well, I can't do it. You know, I just have no time.
And not because I want one, and I do, but the other thing is you can talk to them and say, look, I literally don't have the time, but I have said guy here that I can hand it to. He can do the review, and by using, and not necessarily me, but anybody that, you know, is a smaller like I am and say, okay, you gave it to me because I have the larger audience. Well, I can have him do the review, but then I could broadcast it on my channel, even though he's doing the review. And that way they're still getting the views that they're looking for, the attention, you know, the popularity that you have with your channel, but then you personally don't necessarily have to do it.
Right.
But you have to find someone, you know, that.
Right. Yeah.
You.
Right.
But you know, I got laid off yesterday, so I got all. I'm freaking bored.
Yeah, that's
I've been out of work a day and I'm bored.
Who laid somebody off the weekend before Christmas?
Dude, I actually got laid off like a month ago. We just kept working because we had work kept coming in. So we just kept saying, oh, okay. We shut the company down over a month ago. We stopped all advertising, shut the phones off. People just kept calling. So we were just like, what are you doing? He's like looking at me because it was just me and my boss. There was no one else left. We'd laid everyone else off way back right after Halloween. Defense company. You don't work in the winter. You can't put fencing in when the ground's frozen. People kept calling. We're like, oh, okay. We'll go put a fence in. Why not? He actually has 2 more. And I just said, no, I'm done. It's too cold. It's too wet. The ground's too solid already. There's already 4 to 6 inches of frost. We got to dig through to get any pole in. I'm just too old and tired for that crap. And I'm not supposed to be installing this stuff. I'm the custom end of custom fence. I actually got hired to make the fencing. That's what I do. I don't install them. I make them all real pretty and cut all the swirlies into them and do all the fancy oak and cedar trim and design them all fancy. And then I hand them off to the idiots to go install it. I'm too old for that installation crap. I want to work in the shop where it's heated and air conditioned and, you know, climate controlled. And I've been installing for the last month. I'm done installing fencing. You shouldn't have laid them guys off.
You gluing benchies back together?
And now I need one more just to see if I can stack them. I'm terrible at stacking them, but I can print them.
Yeah. You do like to print your benchies. You know what helps stacking them like that? Goop.
John, trolling for
glue them babies together.
He sent me my own the other day. I didn't even have any. So much appreciated, trolling for dollars.
You want to really get creeped out?
Yeah, that's a weird.
The other day. Who modeled that one?
I did. I did that during a live stream.
I knew I shouldn't have got on a stream with you. Now there'll be one of me pop up somewhere.
You know, it's so weird. I have been trying to do Walter's wife so I can have them as a set, you know, and just because he asked me to. I cannot do it. If I need to do it, I did Walter in like 20 minutes. Just sitting there during a live stream, and it just came into my head. It's like, I'm gonna mono Walter. And he's just sitting there live streaming, and I got, you know, the two windows side by side on my screen, and I'm just drawing away. 20 minutes later, it's done. Same with him. It was just during a live stream, and I started giggling because I've got, you know, a Fun King head, and I've got a Walter head, and they were doing the fun in the country basement. I'm like, we need a Chris head. So I just did it. It just, if someone says you have to do this, I can't do it. It'll come out like crap. But if I'm just sitting there goofing off and just not even caring, it comes out all right. I mean, this isn't great. It really doesn't look all that much like him. It sort of does.
But it's got the ponytail. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but it's not long enough because his ponytail goes all the way down to his ass.
Yeah, it is. And I wasn't paying attention to chat, but Ryan, Mr. Butcham, hello, how are you?
Oh, he's been in and out.
Yeah, apparently 2 of the 6 people are actually him.
Yeah, he's probably doing it on his computer and his phone. Anyways, I got to go because I got to go to bed. It's 11 o'clock.
Right on. Yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say hi because I ignore a lot of streams and I don't get a lot of free time, but I did have 5 seconds to clean up and talk to you all. So
thanks for stopping in. We were just kind of killing time ourselves, I think.
Yeah, we were just killing time because I had to fix my 3D printer that was working just fine. Although I'm glad I did it because you see what I did to this thing? Talk about stress cracks. I was looking at the stress crack and I literally went, the whole corner of it broke right off. So I'm glad I replaced that. Nice. This is completely gone in this corner. I can't believe this lasted, to be honest with you. These were just the prototypes. I never planned on functioning these. These are just like 2 shells with like 20% infill. They were never made to be the functioning part. They were just a fit and finish to see if it was going to work part. So I can't complain. I guess I designed them well enough that the under printed structure was strong enough. I did anneal these though. I will say that.
Well, there you go.
These are Maker Geeks Raptor annealed crap.
Yeah, have you had pretty good luck with that Raptor stuff?
I absolutely love it. What I cannot stand is Maker Geeks.
Yeah.
I just can't. I defended them because I love the Raptor filament. It's absolutely awesome. But this stuff, when I went to build, that was the end of it. When I went to build this printer, I ordered 3 rolls of Raptor purple. And I got 3 different colors in the same box. One of them was transparent, one of them was translucent, and one of them was solid. They're all, you know, similar color, purple, but literally one was transparent, one was translucent, and one was a solid purple. It's like, come on.
I've had about the same look as you have, so.
And I usually get them, and honestly, every time I've had an issue with shipping, and I have had issues with them with shipping, I can usually email them and get a response within a day or 2, and they're like, we're sorry, we'll either give you your money back or, you know, ship you something else, or it's just not in stock. And they never BS'd me because I told them right outright, don't BS me. I said, if it's not and you're not going to have it, don't tell me. I'll move, you know, I'll get another color. I'm not usually that. I order a color because I don't care and it's a color. Yeah. Colors really don't matter to me that much. So they never really BS'd me much about that, and I always got it fixed. But this is just stupid. And then they're like, oh, we'll reimburse you. I ordered some silver or something, and like 3 months later, it still hadn't come in. They still hadn't made it. I wanted the silver in that one case. And they said, oh, we'll just give you your money back, get somebody else's silver. It's like, all right. Another 2 months went by, never got my money back. Now they won't even answer my emails. Finally, I went to PayPal and said, look, I never got this product. And I got my money back.
Yeah, that's the experience I had. I needed like 5 rolls or 6 rolls of PETG, like two of this and 2 of that and 2 of whatever. And 3 months went by, and I said, hey, where is it? And they said, well, it just came off of the line.
Yeah, that's their answer to everything, and it's still not made yet.
Yeah, and I ended up getting like 2 rolls, and then they never got back to me ever again, and they refunded some stuff. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, no. And it sucks because they do make a decent filament.
Yeah.
I really wish somebody would come along with some money and just buy them out because the model, the business model is there. They just need somebody else to run that place. Someone that knows what the hell they're doing.
Well,
Because that guy,
they're like 4 hours away from me.
yeah.
I mean, that would be perfect for me.
Yep.
I would drive down there and get it if I had to.
I don't think I'd drive 4 hours, but
Chris.
Yeah, there you go. I need my own filament factory.
but the role models there, he was really good at building up and getting the business model going. He's just not good at keeping it going. Yeah. He needs to either, I think he just needs to go out and run the shop and not the sales. I think he needs to hire someone to run the business and just let him sit in the shop and sit over that freaking massive extruder, because now he's got 2 extruder machines, and just sit there and spit filament out all day long and let him play with the equipment. Then he would be happy. And they'd make money.
Yeah.
It's spoiled. I try to
the other thing he needs to do,
solid keeps in stock. So if I have any problems, I just drive 30 minutes down the street and say, dude, this one sucks. Can I get another one?
Well, the other thing is I don't need to get it now because I can get from Printed Solid. They get that stuff from Canada. It's the same stuff. It's made in Canada, but it's Modestro or whatever that Printed Solid sells, and it's Raptor PLA. It's the same base plastic. It's the same, just out of Canada. It's cheaper. It's $25 for a roll, and it's nice. That's what this is. This is their Dragon Red. And it's HTPLA. Oh. Yeah, I love the HTPLAs. So is this. That Snow Labs. Snow Labs is selling HTPLAs now too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that color you can get with Luby's Wolf. If you buy that black amethyst. Yeah, that's an HTPLA. They sell regular PLA. The bright green I just got is regular PLA. But that black amethyst is HTPLA. Or so it says on the label. Whether that's true or not is a different story.
Yeah, I need to get a roll of that black amethyst. And Graybeard had Strong Hero 3Ds, their rainbow transition roll.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how tight those transitions were. He had a little head that could have been this big, and it went through the full range.
Really? I've been hearing it was just the opposite, that most of those, you got to print something huge, and you only get like 4 color changes.
Most of them are like the Protopasta. It's like a whole half kilo to go from red to white to blue. But
yeah, which everyone bitched about.
Strong Hero one changes like 4 or 5 times in the spool.
Yeah. Did you have some of that, Chris?
Yeah, I've had from a couple of different companies. I've got the biggest spool I've ever had was from filaments.ca, but it's real gradual.
Yeah, you have to print like 8 items, and you only get 2 color transitions in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one transition roll. The Alchemist gave me of some polyalchemy going from a yellow to the Merlot, I think it is, but it's a full kilo. I'm like, what am I going to print? There's a full kilo to take advantage of this color change.
Yep.
Yeah, Buttram was just saying, Buttram was saying they have both. You can actually order either or. And I thought I'd heard something about that, where they have it. Are you going to print something big? Do you want the slow transition or the quick transition? You can get either or.
Oh, nice.
I went out and looked on Amazon, though, but apparently that was a big seller there, sold out for Christmas.
I still want to start buying what's its name? The tricolored filament all in one. This stuff.
Filablend.
Yeah. This stuff.
That's pretty cool stuff.
I haven't heard from them since Murph. Are they still?
Yeah, they were just advertising. Actually, I got a bunch of emails over just before Christmas here, the last like couple of weeks, that they're taking special orders now. They haven't made it. It's a special order. You order it, you pay half. They make it for you. You pay the other half. They ship it out. But they're only making to order. They're not making in stock anymore. But they lowered their price because of it. It went down like $5 a spool.
Oh,
Guess
But
I need
this
to
is pretty
contact
cool.
them before Murph, see if I can't have a custom roll or two made and waiting for me out there.
Yeah, because they freaked out when they saw this at Earth. They were like, "How'd you do that with our filament?" Because it normally does the, each face has a different color depending on which area it went in. Huh?
You twisted it, didn't you?
No, what I did is I didn't put it on a spool holder, so it twisted itself.
oh, no.
I literally I took the loose spool, the loose coil, and I laid it flat on the desk. So as it was uncoiling, it naturally twisted as it went into the extruder.
That's awesome. That's a great
And
idea.
it just did this.
Very cool.
So it's not just they have the same filament with a little one of these with the different colors where you do it normal, where you put it on a spool holder and it comes out like that.
Right.
Where it's got all the different colors on each face. But if you lay it flat on the ground and let it uncoil this way, as it uncoils, it twists the filament feeding into it, and you get that.
That's really cool, man.
I really like that. That face is like one of my favorites. That and the red.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just cool stuff, and it's good quality filament too, which is even better. I mean, this is you probably can't see it on air, but it's nice stuff.
You've almost got like the chameleon paint job going on there on that one, like the 3-color changing paint. That's really cool.
Yeah, this one.
Green.
This is what it normally does. Is you got the green, the blue, the purple, and the red.
Yeah.
As you spin it around, which is normally that's how they designed it to be print with. They never had someone just throw it on the table and feed it in. I didn't know it was going to do that. I figured it would come out like this. I thought it would be cool. All of a sudden I saw that and I was like, that's freaking awesome. How am I doing that? And then I was watching it as it uncoiled, and because it's laying flat on the ground and it's just uncoiling, it's not spinning it. It twists the filament as it goes into the extruder. So
Awesome.
it made it spirally. It is cool. I love this stuff, but it's just, I mean, it was like $30 for 3 samples. I can't afford to keep that. It's like $50, I think, for a regular coil. Although, again, I think they lowered it. It was like $39 over the holidays. Because I got they loaded me with emails right after Thanksgiving for like a week. I got one almost every day from them. And they have more colors. And they're still working, I guess, with Protopasta.
Nice.
Because they were working with Protopasta at Earth. They grabbed like, I think they grabbed like 100 coils of like Tom's Orange, the High Five Blue, and one of the greens. And they were going to make a Protopasta filler blend.
Yeah, they bought a bunch of samples of polyalchemy too out at Murph, hoping to do something with it too.
Yeah. I don't know if the polyalchemy they can do it with.
Yeah, the way it acts, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. The way it shrinks back up after you heat it, that I don't think their machine will be able to. It'll all gum up their machine, I think. Because that thing is, I mean, what they're doing there is pretty freaking cool when you think about the way they're feeding it in there. And basically, they're just feeding regular filament into that machine, and they're heating it up just enough, and then so that when they come in contact and they go out the new extruder, they're just welding together.
That's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, me too.
Have a great night. If I don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas.
Hey,
Yeah,
keep
you
your
too,
feet
guys.
dry, will you?
Oh, I'm trying. It's not easy, but I'm trying.
Later. See you, Chris.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.